Hi, everybody, and welcome to tonight's episode of Infinite Horizon. This is season 3, episode 14. I checked this time. Um,
The last episode 14 of this series.
it sure is.
It's Drax the GM now.
You know what would be really funny if we hit a point where we realize that we for some reason had to do an emergency 4th season.
Oh no.
And then that joke would be totally irrelevant. I would have been lying that whole time.
Purely to make it relevant. Steven Universe did this. We just call it Infinite Horizon, with a subtitle.
There you
so
go. Yes, there you go.
Thing.
Technically, we were correct the whole time.
No, I think if we have to do an emergency season 4, the episodes aren't numbered; they're lettered. So episode 8.
There you go.
Oh my god! Yes.
Incredible.
First and last episode.
That means we're limited to 26.
It's okay. We'll do a
cannot
sideways
do more than that.
timeline.
Yeah.
It'll be a sideways timeline,
There
so
you go.
it doesn't count.
Yeah.
Perfect.
John Numa is correct. This is the pie episode. This is the pie episode 314.
Oh, yeah, it is. Yeah.
And time is
Oh my
like
God,
a
we got
pie, so
Two
Yeah.
pie days. I'm so lucky.
You get 2 pie days this year, Caitlin.
My favorite.
Are you going to grace us with your talent?
Do you want me to? I feel like it's really obnoxious.
I saw that. Yes, please do. I want to see it live.
If you
I
want
never got
to,
see
I
it
will
live
try
before.
to recall our announcements while you do it if you want.
Delightful. Okay,
I'm
for
watching.
those who don't know, I for some reason have a fixation on memorizing digits of pi. It's not. I have like 50. I can do like 50 digits. I know people can do like hundreds, so it's not like I'm anything wild. I just think it's really funny, and it's my very sexy and interesting party trick. So the numbers of pi that I know are 3.141592653589793248462643383795 0288419716939935. And I don't remember. I don't think I know any more after that.
It was
I did
all
at one
right.
point.
I had
Incredible.
I was looking at it as usual and it
We-
got all right.
we have Drac fact checking over here.
Yes, yeah, I know the live fact.
You just
checking.
got Drac checked.
I just got Drac checked.
He does that during the game too, where actually this is nonfiction.
Yeah. Drac, our lore keeper.
Incredible.
But, yeah, I did. Last year I tried to learn another verse. That's whatever the next 14 numbers. That's what I do every year, and then I've forgotten what I learned last year, so that's why I'm back at 50 again.
Yeah.
50-ish. I don't know how many it actually is.
That's ridiculous.
Jeremy.
Yeah.
Jeremy Bearimy.
Exactly.
Someone followed me recently, and I think the actual name is Jeremy Bearimy, and I didn't know what to say. I didn't want to at them or anything, but I was like, interesting.
Incredible. I love that. I love that for them. Okay. So I have now that Caitlin has stalled, I have not followed up on my end of this and remembered our announcements.
I was
All I can say-
vamping with numbers for you. Do you know how hard that is?
All I can say is that we are currently working on producing the next Beyond the Roll, and I will not give you too many details other than this one, which is that last time when I talked about our upcoming Beyond the Roll, I said that the Discord had really weird timing. And some of you probably figured out what that meant, but what I meant by that is that the next Beyond the Roll will actually be reviving our very first actual play stream, Dungeons and Dorm Rooms. We're coming back, baby. Coming back to Dungeons and Dorm Rooms. Coming back to the Arcane University. So yeah, y'all will be able to experience a brand new group of folks. Maybe some familiar faces. We'll see. But yeah. So that's happening. So yeah. Actually, sorry. Let me back up. Our next Beyond the Roll, we will be returning to Dungeons and Dorm Rooms.
Rooms?
Oh, that just gave me really big nostalgia.
Anyway, so yeah, John's out here telling tales out of school. Yes, that's right. John will be in it as well, playing his NPC character that was briefly in a few episodes. Anyway, so that's coming up. We have no dates about that just yet, and I have not yet announced who is participating, but we will as we get closer to it. So yeah, keep an eye out for that on our Patreon. If you don't know what I'm talking about, Beyond the Roll is one of our Patreon rewards where we do little shorts, Patreon exclusive shorts of TTRPG campaigns, and you can check them out there. I am gonna stop doing that. I'm gonna breathe in between words sometimes. Some manic energy we're coming into this week with. At least I am. Other announcements. I don't think we have any, actually. I don't think we have any big things coming up other than that. Freeman, correct me if I'm wrong, but I don't think it's.
I think you're good.
Yeah.
I think we got it.
Okay, great. On a personal announcement, I will say that many of you may have seen this past weekend on the Infinite Construct channel on YouTube. Okay, so Polarity Exegesis Part 1 and 2, which I am in, went live on Claire's YouTube channel, and you can check it out there. It's very cool. A lot of weird, trippy stuff happened.
Oh, I need to watch to
yeah,
prepare.
Yeah. It was very cool. I loved it very much. There will be a part 2. So ours was Exegesis. Yours, Olivia, what is yours called?
Polarity?
Well, Polarity is the whole like thing, and then like the subtitle for ours was Exegesis.
I
And
can't remember right now, but it'll be really cool.
Stormbringer was in it as well, I believe. If unless I am much mistaken. Welcome. But yes, part 2 will be coming up soon. I don't know the exact dates. Maybe Olivia, do you know?
No, we're still working on it
Okay.
with Claire, but it will be out definitely next month.
Okay,
Sure.
sounds good. Yeah. The first was a Numenera one shot. The second part that Olivia is in is Numenera, but it's not using the Cypher system. It's using the advanced 5e level up, which is very cool. I've been looking into it. It's very cool.
It's super neat. It revamps D&D, so it adds some like really interesting elements that are definitely going to come into play in the one shot. So I'm excited.
I'm really excited to see how that plays out. But yeah, you can check that out over on the Infinite Construct, over on YouTube. That's what I got for announcements. Anybody else?
Sundays, Q times. I almost said my time zone, 5 p.m. Pacific, Power Play. We're coming down to the end of our season 5, of our penultimate season of the whole show. There's only one season left, which is so devastating, but things keep happening and it's horrifying. It's good. It's gonna be fun. I'm on coffee. I have things. If you want to go support me and be a member, I'll send you an envelope full of confetti every month and other things. But I think the confetti is really funny. I thought I had something else going on, but I probably don't. If I do, it's on Twitter.
I have a few things going on. Tomorrow I'm gonna be over on Save and Throw show with a bunch of awesome people. We're playing the Steam Forged Dark Souls TTRPG, and tomorrow we're gonna be interviewing some of the writers, and after that, every other Thursday, we're gonna be playing some Dark Souls TTRPG. I'm very excited for everyone to meet my character because he's gonna be a fucking asshole. It's gonna be great. On Friday, we're coming back over on Q Times with Parliament of Owls, our old villain campaign, which I'm very excited about. We're gonna have a guest on Abaddon. I can't remember their at, but I watched their games on watched them play on Q Times, and I'm very excited. Apparently, their character is going to be very closely linked to mine, so that's going to be interesting. Gonna be the first time I'm playing with them, and my character's awful. So
Incredible.
That's gonna be interesting. On Saturday at 1 p.m. Pacific, I'm gonna be over on a channel that I cannot remember the name of, so just follow me on Twitter to figure out what it is. But I'm gonna be in a charity stream. I'm gonna be playing a little speedster called Sugar Rush, and we're gonna be raising money for. Again, I can't remember the name of the charity, but to help people who are survivors of sexual assault and harassment. So hang out, donate if you can. If you can't, retweet and get other people there. I'll be retweeting the tweet now, actually. But yeah, I think that's everything I have.
Excellent. And John, real quick, I don't know if you did, but just in case you did not, would you mind doing a quick link in the chat for the Infinite Construct YouTube channel, if you wouldn't mind? I would appreciate that. Just so folks can know where to find this cool stuff. I think the only other thing that I have to say is follow Remy on Twitter.
Yes, follow him on Twitter. Hold on. I'm sorry. I failed you, Remy. I'm so sorry.
Other than that,
On
I
your
think
toes.
I think that's everything. And so we should get into tonight's episode of Infinite Horizon. We'll be back in a second. Welcome back, everybody. Um, I had a slight wardrobe change in the middle of the. Anyway, previously on Infinite Horizon, um, continuing their scouting mission on Sulan, Peach, Mason, and Vix met with Tamsin Trethaway and learned that the Corps were allocating vast resources on Sulan, to search for something called the Nexus. According to Trethaway, the corporations were a pawn of another being like the one the crew destroyed at the Prime Conduit. To make matters worse, Oneira had allied with the corporations in their search with the Nexus. Seeing that the corps were no longer a tool that served her interests, Trethaway offered the crew information that would allow them to retake Sulan in exchange for helping her fake her own death in the chaos. Uh, Later, the crew met with Aramis, a representative for the Sulan caretaker hive, to ask about the Nexus. Aramis told them that it was the source of conduit travel and the hub that allowed conduits galaxy-wide to function. The corporations and Oneira had thus far been unsuccessful in learning its location from the caretakers, but Aramis warned the crew that the hive would not be able to keep the secret indefinitely against their combined might. Realizing that the only way to keep Sulan safe was to end the conflict with the corporations permanently, the crew decided to regroup with the resistance to plan, but not before Aramis gave them one last piece of information. Following the destruction of the Prime Conduit months ago, and the subsequent cleanup, the caretakers detected an old but familiar signal. A ship had seemingly emerged from the anomaly left behind by the explosion and landed on a remote planet, on the edge of corporate space. The crew returned to the Resistance, brought their team up to speed, and began marshaling the fleet for the assault on the corporate forces around Sulan. While the fleet gathered, the crew decided to get some rest and follow up on the mysterious signal Aramis mentioned. That night, Teon dreamed about the temporal anomaly that gave him his powers, and he noticed something new in the familiar memory. A mysterious being, with eyes like endless voids, caught in the same blast, and seeing him across time or space, or perhaps even across infinite universes. And that is where we left off. So, coming back in, we are going to shift ahead just a couple of hours, as y'all have, well, maybe more than a couple of hours, as I would like it to be after y'all have gotten some rest. That's right. I, the GM, am deciding that your characters have rested. You do
Fine,
not
I
get a say in it.
Mina
Damn.
does go sleep in the pilot seat of Awakener.
Fair enough.
Does it recline?
It does. She slept in it many times
Excellent.
before.
If it didn't before, it sure does
It sure
now.
does now.
I actually like that better. I think it like definitely didn't at first, but then once Bina got their hands on it.
For sure, for
Yeah.
sure.
Yeah.
Early season 1, that would have been a
Fina's
modification.
like, well, this just is not gonna do. I'm just like,
This is not ergonomic to my
yeah,
habits.
how am I gonna sleep in this?
I'm just imagining like Bina in like the depression arc, like Bella from New Moon, like that's in recline. Oh my God. Sorry, it was in my mind.
You're so right, though.
I hate it and I love it. Let's go. Anyway, So, you've had some time to rest since returning to Wire's ship, which is still in orbit above the usurpers the planet that the usurpers have their base on. Which is probably convenient in this moment since y'all will be mustering your forces soon, including the usurpers, those that promised you by the usurpers. For now, however, um, y'all have been gearing up and getting ready to follow up on this mysterious signal that has been pointed out to you and the coordinates of its final location given to you by the Sulon Hive of caretakers. So, um, let's go ahead and I think we're gonna cut to. I think we'll probably actually let's go ahead and cut to the bridge. As Bina, you are sort of running some last minute checks, making sure Awakener's ready to go. Let's say I'll say anyone who is here can anyone can decide, any of you can decide if you're there or not on your own. If any of you want
I
to
think
be
I'll be there.
okay.
Yeah.
I think additionally Jade is also present here.
Wouldn't want him anywhere else. He's
Yeah.
my little helper. Got things to do up here.
Jade kind of going through says, "Okay, just finished running through an inventory of our supplies. Everything looks good. We're running a little low on a few things, but nothing that regrouping with the fleet won't solve."
Okay. Well, we'll just keep an eye on it and deal with it when we get the chance.
Okay, yeah. He kind of goes back, returns to, running a few other checks. In the meantime, yes.
Terrence kind of, I think he kind of walked in and kind of been watching, and just because Bina would feel this, I think he definitely got he's got a nervous, maybe restless energy about him, as he's kind of watching you and Jade buzz around.
Bina pokes you with her brain.
You're already used to it.
You get like a like in your brain.
Yeah.
That kind of a.
Yeah, no, Ada definitely
inquisitive
does that
push from her.
a bunch to him as well. So I think he's definitely used to that kind of thing. So he kind of, in the best way you can, kind of gives a don't worry kind of feeling. It's fine.
We've said that Orzai have there's an affirmative and negative emotional response, like a non-verbal, non-physical. So you being with Ada would probably know that.
Yeah.
Non-Bina Orzai can't push their emotions onto non-empaths, but all Orzai can receive emotions from an empath. So you would probably know the equivalent of an emotional no.
Yeah. So I definitely give that, just go out loud this time. Is there anything I can help with?
Well, if you want to watch these readings until they come through, I was gonna just watch them myself, but if you watch them, then I can go do something else.
Yeah. I'll watch them.
She swivels 2 feet away to go do to do the next reading. If any
He
of
kind
them
of
come
sits
up
there.
as yellow or red, you tell me. Otherwise, we're good to go.
Yellow, red. Okay.
As you are you're kind of in there, Ada does walk in after a moment, and setting down, they sit in one of the other seats in the cockpit and holding up their terminal and say, "Okay, I think that should about do it. There we go. The forged identity documents for
Perfect.
for Iselic are finished, ready to go. I just have to I basically just have to send them into the galactic database and should be good to go."
Can we do it from here, or do we need to get you somewhere for that?
I think I can probably set it from here. There's at least one communications beacon nearby that I can just sort of patch into and should be no problem.
Sounds good.
Perfect.
I'm sure he will be I would say glad to hear that, but I don't know if this is what he wanted anyways, but will be good for
It's-
him to know at some
Yeah.
point.
It's what he's getting.
hmm
When do we want to drop him off somewhere? And I guess where do we want to drop him off when we do?
Not
I
a
guess
whole
that's
lot of
probably up to.
not a whole lot of options between here and
Yeah,
where
up
we're
here.
going, but
Yeah.
oh wait, hold on, that's not true. Because you're sorry, I'm getting Taeon's teleportation
Where
has
are we?
confused me. So
Yeah,
you're
yeah,
like
where we
way
not-
on the
we're not
other
on Sul-
side.
We're not on Sulan.
You're
Yeah, we're
not
on
on
the other side,
Sulan,
we're
yeah.
not.
Or even
We're
close
by
to it.
border worlds.
Yeah.
We're
Nope.
way. Are we more coreward or outer, like edgeward?
I
When we're
think
out here.
more core word,
Okay.
I believe. No, that's not true. No. It's no more edgeward, I think.
More edgeward, and then the anomaly was near Sulan.
Yeah, it's like towards
Okay, it is way up there. Okay, so we have to go to the So we've got space. And
Yeah,
we've
you got
the
you
rest
literally
of the
take
galaxy,
him
the
anywhere
known
he wants to
galaxy
go.
in
Yeah.
between. Yeah.
The entirety
Okay.
of the known galaxy. Yeah. So yeah, Ada shrugs and says, "I mean, I'm sure there's some stations between here and there that he can find hitch a ride or disappear as he sees fit."
We stop at any conduit. There's going to be a conduit station nearby. We can just
Yeah.
Drop him
dump
off
him
at-
wherever
okay.
sounds good, and then jump back in the conduit to keep going.
Sounds good to me.
I guess maybe we ask Mason.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking actually.
Yeah.
I'll go now. Figure I might as well just deliver the good news personally.
Good to know.
She stands up, gives you a squeeze on the shoulder, Taeon, and then just and exits the bridge. Yeah.
Everything's still green. He's just staring down at the display.
Bina knows that it's all gonna come in fine. I think she's already checked that one. This is her second check, but she wants to give Dan something to do so that he has a reason to hang out because it seemed like he wanted a reason to hang out.
With that, I think we'll cut to like the cargo hold, where I'm gonna say Mason.
Oh, okay.
You-
I was taking a shower in my room in my imagination, but now I'm here, so this is cool.
Okay. So, we'll say you sitting with Iselik in sort of the like the small lounge area just off to the side of the main cargo hold. He's just sort of sitting like drumming his fingers on the table. There's just been like no conversation for a while, and Abriel's sitting at the table as well, just sort of like looking back and forth between the two of you. Just going like, well, I have somewhere else to be because this is uncomfortable. And she gets up and just walks out of the lounge.
Subtle.
And Iselik just sort of stops drumming on the table and then just sort of looks. Well, this is it. You'll finally be rid of me soon.
Well, it's not exactly the way I saw things going down, but yeah.
Yeah. Well,
Not that I need to know, I guess, but what are you gonna do?
I don't know. Maybe gun for hire? I don't know. Probably not, though. I think I lost all my fight a long time ago. Who knows? Maybe I'll retire to a frontier world and hell, I don't know, become a farmer or some shit, I don't know.
Oh, you're being serious.
Hard to tell. Changes by the hour.
That's not a bad idea. Maybe find a beach somewhere.
Yeah. Yeah, maybe.
If not for yourself, at least go there for me. I've been meaning to go get some ocean air.
What? Revolutionary doesn't offer vacation days?
No. I mean, we would have to give them to ourselves, so no.
He nods. Says, yeah. At this point, Ada walks in and says, "Okay, so this is all done. Here you are." And she like swipes over the documents to his terminal. He looks down and says, "Okay." Says, 5'9", and she says, "Hey, it's it's best I could do. I'm working with existing documentation of the deceased, so it's what was available." Says, "All right, okay. I suppose I am 5'9" now. Must be shrinking in my old age." um,
Just a little.
she sits down next to him and says, "Okay, now what you're gonna want to do," and basically starts like running him through like the process of like what he should and what he should avoid doing and what he should do with his documentation now, and like yeah, specific areas to avoid, like ways there like the more scrupulous stations might check a little further into this, and yeah, basically just kind of giving him the rundown. Um, but by the end of it, he's sort of all squared away, and Ada says, "And I don't know how much longer this will be useful, but if anything goes wrong," and she swipes over like contact information, and he looks. She says, "That'll give you a direct line to me. So if anything goes wrong with the documentation, you just need to contact me." And he nods, says, "Yeah, thanks. No offense, but if everything goes according to plan, I hope I never have to see or talk to any of you ever again." She smiles and says, "Yep, well, that is the idea." And she says, she kind of puts a hand on his shoulder and says, "Good luck doing whatever." And he nods. She kind of gives you another look, Mason, before they leave, and just sort of like exits the area. He says, "So, guess you'll be dropping me at the nearest station, huh?"
Yeah.
"Fair enough. Can make my way."
It's not a whole lot of options, and we've got more pressing things.
Sure, sure. Well, I feel like it's sort of expected that as your former mentor, that I would give you some kind of parting sage advice, but frankly, I'm fresh out. Never did pep talks anyway, so.
That's true. Why start now?
He like looks down at his new identity and says, "Maybe this guy will start. Who knows?"
Yeah, what's the name?
Mezic. Mezic Fordesian? Whatever.
Nice. Maybe you'll become a spy.
I think I've had enough of the espionage to last several lifetimes. Well, I guess I better go get my things. Oh, wait. And he just sort of gives kind of like a half-hearted grin, and then just gets up and begins walking back towards where he's been quartered this whole time. Yeah.
I think Mason kind of just continues sitting in the hold on, actually. Yeah, I think Mason will continue sitting there for now.
Okay.
And flip open his wrist computer and look at the news on Krenai. I almost forgot the name of the home planet, Krenai.
Yeah.
Just kind of look up some news on that.
Sure. All right. So anybody else wanting to do anything specific right now at this point?
At the I didn't have time at the end of last episode, but I did kind of Peach wanted to peek in and see on Trethaway after we made this kind of like stressed deal and kind of like spy in her office, especially knowing that Oneira was kind of heading there. Like to the planet at least.
Sure. What do you do? How do you
So I'm getting Peach is like sitting on her bed essentially like cross-legged, and she's going to do distance viewing to see the into Trethaway's office.
Yeah, you pop in as like Oneira is like is just sort of standing imposingly over a like sort of sitting Trethaway at her desk, and as you pop in, you catch just the end of like Oneira saying, "Progress. You're going to have to speed up. Time is against us here. So, unless you want someone else taking over, I hear your employer, our mutual acquaintance, doesn't have the most forgiving termination policies. Trethaway just says, "Look, we're doing everything we can, but these damn caretakers, they are doing everything in their power to keep us away from there. Trethaway, I didn't come here for excuses. I came here for results, and if you can't provide them, then I'll find someone who can." And you see just very slightly, like, as Oneira sort of like leans over and places her hands on the desk, her hands are like just fully obscured in shadow that just sort of spreads like smoke over the top of the desk towards Trethaway, who sort of like immediately like pushes back, involuntarily seemingly pushes back from the desk. Oneira doesn't react as if anything happened, just sort of pulls back from the desk and says, "Now, I think I'm going to take a walk. See the sights. You let me know if you need anything." And just with that, without another word, just sweeps out of the office. Trethaway just sits there for a moment, and you can see that she just sits there for a while after after Oneira leaves. And at one point, like, a corporate aide walks in and says, "Director Trethaway, I was looking." She goes, "Out! Now!" The aide stops dead and, like, backpedals out. "My apologies, Director," and then just, like stammering, just sort of... Trethaway just sits there for a second, opens a drawer, and, like, pulls out a bottle and pours herself a small tumbler and just sort of knocks it back, and then just sits there.
What's her like? I get it from the description, but like what is her expression? Like what is her demeanor? Like, does she seem terrified? Does she seem stressed? Does she seem like what is her? Does she seem desperate? Like what's her kind of level right now?
Trethaway, being someone practiced in corporate ladder climbing, is very, very good at not betraying emotion, even when alone. Like, to the point where it's probably habit at this point. That it might actually take work for her to, like, let down that particular mask. What you are seeing is basically, like, fully, completely impassive expression. But you do see that she's not holding herself quite so, like, rigidly upright as she often does. So.
All right. Thank you. And then I think after that, Peach gets up to go join everybody on the bridge.
Okay. Sounds good. Then with that, as checks are being made, Bina on the bridge, you have the like video feed of Becker up. Says, "You sure you want to do this?"
What else are we gonna do?
Yeah, I suppose. I just
It'll be fun.
yeah, that's the goal. That's
Mhm.
sure.
Mhm. Yeah.
He finally kind of uncharacteristically breaks a little bit and just kind of grins at you and just says, "Seriously, I wish I was going with you on this one, but I got to be here to make when the rest of the fleet arrives."
No, it's good. It's good that you're staying.
All
We'll
right.
miss you, and probably would at some point could have used your expertise, but it's better that you're here.
Yeah. From what I've had the computers analyzing the coordinates of where you're headed. As far as I can tell, it's a remote world, terraformed but never settled. So you should be good to go. As long as you don't call a lot of attention to yourselves from any kind of corporate patrols, I think you should be fine. Can't imagine they'd have a lot of interest in a place like that.
Hopefully not. We'll find out, I guess.
All right. Well, take care, and
You too.
you're clear to depart.
See you on the flip side.
All right.
Waking her out.
Shaw out. Yeah. And the communication cuts out. With that, you Awakener takes off from the interior of the ship, exiting through the hangar door, and heading back out into space. So this is a trip that will probably take a while.
Mhm.
There and back kind of thing. But so probably if you go by the most direct route, it'll probably take you about like there and back. Just this is just the trip. There's no idea how long it will take to actually be there. There and back probably be about a little under 2 weeks. Which, depending, because you have no idea where the rest of the fleet is coming from, so like it's probably enough time, to give them to, but who knows? Yeah.
Did we have a timeline on? Didn't we get told how long it was going to take for all the ships to come? Wasn't it like a?
It was somewhere in like a range, basically.
Oh, okay.
Somewhere in like within, like, Becker speculated that maybe a week, maybe more.
Week to a month might be our
Yeah.
window at this point.
Yeah, pretty much.
How long did
We
it?
gotta
Yeah, I was
cross.
muted. How long did the caretakers say around it would take for them to like get as many people as they can in the? I think they gave us like how long it would be.
Maybe. I think
They said they'd start now.
Yeah,
I think
they
was
said
what
that they'd
what
start.
but they didn't
told
give
us.
us time.
I'm not sure that they gave you a specific amount of time, especially because like they wanted to be able to do it without the corps realizing that they were doing it. So
Yeah.
like doing it
They needed
incrementally,
time.
yeah, doing it incrementally means that like few people disappear here and there, over like the course of days or weeks. So yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
All right. On this journey, anything in particular that y'all wanna do, wanna take care of, any scenes you think need to happen?
I don't necessarily need a scene out of this, but I do want to throw out to, I think Mason probably in particular, do we know where we're dropping Iseligov at? Because we'll just have to pop out of a conduit or something and find a station near one and just
Does
out of the border worlds and get him somewhere that there's transport.
Yeah, Mason would tell you where that is if he knows.
Yeah,
I think he does because.
Yeah.
Does he want to go to Krenai? Is that why you're looking at Krenai?
I think that'd probably be a little out of the way.
It's pretty much, it's kind of like
It's
on the way,
on
but
the
it's
way-ish.
Oh,
it's
okay.
still pretty close to the border worlds. That's the only thing.
Mhm.
It's like right next to the border
Mhm.
worlds.
Yeah.
Okay, because I was considering it.
Yeah.
But yeah, that was an idea I had.
I would say that you would
Take it to
also know.
23.
Huh?
I say we could take it to 23.
That's true. I was gonna say that there are probably quite a few much larger stations. Like I believe 23 is one of the larger ones.
Pretty big.
And
yeah.
like,
That might be better.
yeah.
It's
Can
pretty
really
far.
blend in.
It's just up of middle of the quadrant, so it's
Mhm.
it's pretty far from the border worlds, which is where he's trying to be away from.
Yeah.
So it'd be a good spot, good hub. He can get pretty much anywhere from there. And if it's still, functioning, we haven't been up here in a while. If it's all still good and not wrecked like some of the big hubs of the known galaxy have been, it'd probably be a pretty good spot to hop
Mm.
at.
Okay.
Mason's gonna do some quick googling to see if it's cool to go there. Probably is,
Yeah.
but just gonna do some news.
Yeah, I mean, there's not a whole lot of news out of Station 23 other than like nothing that would like draw a whole lot of attention. Like there's been nothing. The most catastrophic thing that has happened there is that there have been like there's a group of people who have been basically labeled insurgents had like attacked and bombed a corporate center there, basically destroying it, reducing it to rubble essentially. All of them had been apprehended by authorities. The death toll was astronomical, but like seems like it was sort of a pocket group that just sort of did that, and like there has been like no unusual, there's no growing unrest or anything like that on Station 23. Like it's been mostly people just sort of recovering from that and dealing with that particularly traumatic thing that happened, but otherwise, yeah.
Well, Station 23 looks good to me.
I have a question about game. This group, do they have like a name or just a bunch of people?
They don't seem to have a name. It just was like a group of individuals
Okay.
working. Yeah.
Okay. Just also make sure that they're not going around being like, "Hey, we're part of resistance." Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. If you look further into it, you can see that there are like very like many of them were not talking much, but like what they did say seems like it was basically in retaliation for like corporate attacks on some of their home worlds. But yeah. So.
Okay.
So we'll
So,
set
sorry?
basically once we get to the nearest conduit, we'll set a course for the Station 23 conduit.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
Because that's right there. It's like you can see the conduit from
Yes.
that station.
Yeah.
You just sit and watch ships come in and out.
Yeah.
I wonder if my dockmaster still works there. Tibble, I don't think Tibble liked me very much.
I don't think he was just kind of like, all right,
a
you're
little
here,
weirdo.
I guess.
Oh, I got in
but,
trouble though, I think, in my Section
Yeah.
0 because I was looking at stuff I wasn't supposed to. Yeah.
Yeah. But yeah, you arrive on Station 23, and as you set down on the docks, you can see immediately that there are like dock workers rush up to attach fuel lines, and after kind of waving a few of them away who have like offered like additional maintenance and stuff like that, Iselik just sort of like has his like duffel like over his shoulder as he steps down the ramp, looks around, and says, "Well," and turns to you, Mason, and says, "Is it the
I'd
last?"
say till the next time, but
Yeah.
hopefully if this goes right, we won't see each other after this.
It's for the best. And he kind of like glances back to like I don't know how many of you are there.
I would have come. I would have
Sure.
come down to say bye.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, I think I'm here.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Terrence as well.
He looks around to the rest of you and says, so, good luck with the whole resistance thing. I don't know. Is that a weird thing to say?
Honestly,
Yeah.
the fact that the resistance is unfortunate and also weird in it of itself. So I guess there's no real norm.
Can't argue with that.
This is kind of where my whole story started, and it looks like it's where yours is gonna start again too. So hopefully 23 treats you well.
Yeah, I guess so. We'll see. All right. Well, he doesn't say another word. Just kind of nods and just shoulders his duffel, and then just begins walking out across the docking pad.
As soon as he's turned his back, Bina kind of gives like a two-handed, like cartoonish salute.
No, yeah, Mason also does like a kind of like goes for it, and then is just like, yeah,
Yeah.
and then kind of just chuckles. I haven't done that for a long time. And then saw
do it
Bina
right.
do it.
Yeah, how's my form? Did I get it?
Not bad actually, and got both arms to do it, the same exact angle and everything. That's great.
Yeah, is that, would you multiple limbed? Do you do what? Is it just the top one? Is it the right hand or the both sides? They're walking back in.
Oh goodness, caught me off guard with that.
Tan and I are just exchanging glances like
I don't know.
Do we want to do anything on 23? Do we need anything?
I
There
think
was
we're
some
kind of in a rut.
There's some stuff that we're low on, wasn't there?
that we were low on supplies.
Mhm.
23 is since we're here would be a good place to get
Yeah.
anything that we were
Re-up.
low on. Yeah.
Mhm.
What was it like food supplies or like mechanical supplies?
It would
or-
probably have been both. Yeah, both.
I
Just
think-
because those are the
yeah.
things that are being the most consistently used since leaving the.
Yeah.
Bina is gonna know exactly where to get all of that.
Mhm.
So I think if anyone wants to come with her, she could just run, just put on her little hood and her goggles and try to run out real quick and get everything we need because she can make it super fast. She'll be back
Yeah.
in an hour.
Yeah, I'd say Jade probably goes with you.
Mhm.
Hell, probably Sedona tags along too. So like,
Excellent.
Yeah.
outing.
Yeah,
Aww.
get Southern out of the shift a little
Yeah.
bit. Yeah.
Oh my
You're
god.
chaperoning
Okay.
their date.
Oh my god, no, the two of them have become a captive audience. To Bina, this is where I lived for 5 years. This is like just like, and that's my favorite place to get whatever. And that's like she
legitimately, as soon as the three of you are gone, Abriel was like, "Was that the smartest group to send out this? Aren't we in a bit of a rush?"
Yeah, no, I think Bean will be okay. And
It's
I think
okay.
honestly, I think Jade and Sedona will probably rush Bina. Especially
Bina's
with
so fucking fast. She's the fastest motherfucker on this ship. She said she'll be back in an hour. She's back in 52 minutes. She's ready to go.
Wow, personal best, 52 minutes. Wow.
All right. Unless there is anything else anyone wants to do on Station 23, Bina, Jade, and Sedona return to Awakener in a timely fashion, and with that, Awakener is taking off once again, heading through the conduit. This leg of the journey is much faster because you're much closer to your destination here, so it's really just probably about a matter of like maybe like an hour or so. But before too long, you find yourselves jumping through the conduit, and after just sort of a short hour-long jaunt of FTL on the other side, the ship drops out of FTL at the coordinates, with everyone gathered in the bridge. As you look down at the at your sensors, Bina, you see the same thing Alma sees just a fraction of a second later, as Alma goes, whoa, isn't this place supposed to be abandoned or never settled? What the hell is
Is it
this?
What we were told.
Is it not?
As you look at Alma just sort of swipes the readings up to like sort of, it's like projecting across the canopy, and as you're looking, you can see as it sort of zooms in, there are what looks like three sort of large, sort of circular, sort of like almost like flat cones of like stations, all linked together via like a sort of like spindly kind of like walkways, perhaps, kind of intercrossing between them, that are just sort of in orbit around this planet.
Whoa. Do you
What?
recognize this? Do I recognize anything like the infrastructure of this thing?
It doesn't look familiar at all. It's at a quick glance, Taeyeon, it doesn't look like a military installation.
Okay.
Wait, one more time. What did it look like exactly?
So basically, just these circular stations that are sort of
Mhm.
shaped like vaguely conical but
Mhm.
flat. And
Hmm.
so like they basically have like the wide base, and they get sort of narrower as they get to the top. There's 3 of them, each sort of interconnecting by like crisscrossing walkways in between them. And there appears to be from this distance sort of like a central core that is also sort of like seems like some sort of sphere kind of held suspended in the middle by like in kind of creating a nexus for all these like walkways in between.
If we kind of like zoom in to get a like zoom in with some sensor or whatever to get a closer look, are there any corporate logos or anything on it, or?
As a matter of fact, yes, there is. There is a corporate logo. There is a sort of vaguely sort of like a navy blue oval background with 3 stars, 2 larger and one smaller. You recognize the logo for Trinity Star Solutions.
Okay. This is not good. You think they're here tracking down what we're here to track down?
Alma says, "Hold on, let me get some telemetry on the planet. Now that we're here, maybe that'll give us something." And you can see as she starts running a scan, like on getting some of like the planetary telemetry that's being kind of now slowly appearing on the screen. Bina, as you're watching this stuff, like, oh, sorry, what were you gonna say?
I was just gonna say, like, what would the equivalent of like a company website be? Like, is there like a hub somewhere on like our net that you can look and be like, can we look up Trinity Star and be like, we have grand plans for XYZ? Like, is this something that'd be listed, or does this seem like this is a totally like off the books? Is basically what I was like, can we look this up and see if this
It's
is
hard
even
to say just
Yeah.
at looking at it. You could try looking it up, but to run like a thorough search, like Trinity Star is a mega corporation, and
Yes,
it's
yeah.
like spans galactically. So like
Mhm.
it would take hours to sift through
That's
all of that.
Mhm.
But as you are looking ahead, Bina, you're watching all this stuff roll in. Seeing some of like the continental mapping of the planet coming in. You see, like no biome data just yet. First, it's just like the physical like shape of stuff first coming in. You feel from someone in the room, like sort of a sense of like sort of somebody is perplexed in the room, and as you look around, it doesn't take you long to find out who. As you see Jade, who's just sort of squinting at this.
What do you see?
It's, I don't know. It looks familiar somehow. I
the
can't place
books?
it. And he kind of like looks over at Sedona. He's like, right, this looks familiar, right? And she looks and she says, maybe. I can't place it either.
Like from the things you've been studying, or like from
No.
life?
No. I don't know. He like taps Alma on the shoulder. He says, "Can you zoom in right there on that continent right there?" And she just sort of, sure, yeah, brings it up. And as he's looking. Says, "Now angle it about 20 degrees." Great. And can you there's suddenly you feel like a shock and realization from Sedona, who puts her hand on Jade's shoulder. Jade, look. And she like points to like one part of it where there's just sort of like this sort of large bay. And as she's pointing, you can see as like telemetry is starting to fill in now, but you can see there's sort of like a large bay that is there seems to be from like you can hear Alma just sort of intake a breath, like, what the hell? Because there is a full city right there on the bay. And Jade goes, no, it can't be. But it's not real. right? And
What's not real?
the two of them look at you, Taeyeon, and like in perfect unison, they say Evotopia.
Do
What
I
is-
know what that is?
What does that
means
mean?
nothing to any of you.
Ex- you guys want to explain?
Jade says, "Yeah, sorry. It's a game. It's a game. Evotopia. It's like it's a
VR thing?
yeah. It's a VR thing from Apotheosis Studios. They have this whole gaming rig that you make your character. They have all kinds of, it's like a game inside. So many different, there's lots of little games inside the big game. You have different characters. They call them sonas, and Sedona like just sort of puts, she's like, slow down. He goes, okay, sorry.
And I thought time travel was.
So it's the city from the VR game is here. That's what you're saying.
not just the city, the whole continental structure. Like that's why it looked so familiar to me. I've never played it myself. I can't afford the rig, but I've never been able to afford the rig. But I look up a lot of videos, and on the extranet and like on the extranet and
While he's talking, I'm gonna pull up some
Mhm.
feeds or some like actual plays or some
Mhm.
like let's plays from
Yeah.
the net and
Stream
see.
within a stream.
So
Mhm.
like pull it up next to our telemetry scan, and so it'll play while he talks.
yeah. As he says, I mean, yeah. Look, and Alma goes, weird. And as you look, you can see now the telemetry has largely filled in, and you can see like the different biomes on the planet. The thing that's weird, y'all have seen a lot of planets. The thing that's weird about the biomes on this planet is that they don't make any fucking sense. Like
How so?
there is like an Arctic, like a subtropical
Interesting.
Arctic region that is like right next to a desert. And there is like a
Oh,
perfect
God,
hard line.
no.
There's like a perfect hard line in
Oh,
between
like
them.
video game map
This is
style.
Minecraft.
Yeah.
We're in
Minecraft. It's Minecraft.
There's an area of it that looks to be completely like on the telemetry. You're not sure exactly what kind of biome it is, but you are seeing like basically just like a fully like dark. It's showing up on the scopes as like a very like a darkened landscape that like very little vegetation on, or there's vegetation, but it's all pinging back with like high levels of radioactivity in various patches all over it, and yeah.
Could we get this is probably like what Bean is doing now, to be honest, since they're getting up the game, but like could we get like a world map, an in-game map of what this would look like? What
Sure.
does it look like in the game? Do you think
So
you can find that?
that is a complicated question, because there, as Jade explains, he goes, there's lots of different games within the one game. So there's different
Okay.
regions for different things, and the world maps are all different. But the thing is, some of these look like, yeah, here, zoom there. Great. Grab a screen from there. And there. Holy shit. He and Sedona look at each other. He says,
What?
some of these are from games that aren't even part of Evotopia. They're just from other VR games. Is it real?
What is this? No offense. I mean, this is really useful information, but what does this have to do with what we're looking for? Are we sure these coordinates are correct?
I'm
Sorry, go ahead.
I don't see any reason why they wouldn't be, and to be entirely honest, this is very strange. The ability to make these kind of biomes right next to each other without them even melting into each other, let alone existing with next to each other, is
So,
odd.
Peach, something
Mhm.
that you know that has to be involved here is Anzalonian bioengineering. Like,
Yeah, I think that's why Peach is like not surprised by
Yeah.
this.
Yeah, Anzalonian environmental engineering is highly advanced. This is
Mhm.
not more than it is capable of, but it's maybe an application that like they never would have attempted, because
Mhm.
like
An odd one.
it's odd because like mostly like climate engineering that Anzalonians engage
Mhm.
in is intended to create like pretty like like worlds that simulate like actual realistic
Mhm.
environs, realistic planetary conditions.
Mm.
as opposed to this, which
Yeah, not
appears to
like
be
this,
this
yeah.
is just a patchwork of various biomes and yeah.
Yeah,
We-
I've never seen it. I've never seen terraforming applied to such a frivolous thing like this. It's very, I guess, corporate.
Yeah.
we look up and see if Trinity Star has any affiliation with Apotheos
They
Studios?
definitely are the parent company for
They
Apotheosis.
are,
Yeah,
okay.
they
So
are.
then that makes sense that they're here if
Mhm.
this has something to do with that. Okay.
Yep.
Okay. What games from everything you've seen so far? Can you tell what games are involved in this, Jade?
Uh, there's a lot. I mean, there's one that's kind of like a frontier world farming type simulation. There's like a pretty sophisticated city builder in there as well. That's yeah.
I think Peach's
There's
eyes are glazing over. She doesn't know what any of these words mean.
yeah. He shrugs and says, I mean, there's like an adventure game as well where I mean that's the one that I think is the most interesting. You make a character and you walk around and you can interact with different. It's not important right now. Sorry, getting sidetracked. But yeah, I mean
Yeah, no.
there's lots of different games, but I honestly couldn't tell you. I mean there's so many here that aren't even part of Evotopia that like I don't know.
I only asked because Peach, I think this might be related because what better place to hide out at when you're from a galaxy, or at least part of a galaxy that no one's explored, than a game where anything makes sense there? They could be whatever came through. We know something came through. Could have gone to the nearest planet, which is probably this one from that point.
My
That-
concern is that this is supposed to be. There's not supposed to be anyone out here, which means they're out here in secret, which means I don't think I like what they're up to, even though we don't know what it is yet.
Yeah, it's possible this is some kind of I don't know. I mean, this is clearly a below the books operation, but I mean, anything extra legal could be going on here.
Ada at this point points out, says, "Well, whatever is going on down there, it's gonna be almost impossible to land Awakener on the surface. At least not without alerting absolutely everyone.
Yeah.
But it looks like they've even got communications blockers.
Huh.
They have all incoming and outgoing signals are blocked, except for it looks like their own.
I suppose
What kind of
makes
thing-
sense.
What kind of communications are they sending out? Is it just like
There's
like text data, or is it
No.
like bigger than that?
It's hard to tell, but there are enormous amounts of data being streamed into and out of.
My guess is they're probably
Oh.
having a live update of the planet for whatever games they're going to be using it for. I wouldn't be surprised if that's what this is. I think everyone's walking around in a virtual version of it, yes, but it's essentially a constant screenshot or video of the actual parts of this planet.
So, are there people actually on the planet, or are there virtual projections of people on the planet?
Jade shakes his head. He says, "As far as I knew until a few minutes ago, none of this was real. I can't imagine. I mean, there wouldn't be if there's people all over the galaxy playing a game, interacting with real people down there, and not even knowing it.
Seems awfully sinister to me.
I'd like to try something really weird.
Mm-hmm.
Can you let me know if this is
Sure,
possible?
sure.
Okay, I want to try to combine two abilities, and I'll, if you need me to pay for it, you let me know. I want to try to use ship speak
Mm-hmm.
to get into Awakener and use the scanning stuff to project my empathic abilities and see if I can tell if there are real people down there.
Oh, interesting. Interesting. Okay.
Oh, like
That's very
scanning,
cool.
Yeah,
like
yeah,
extra
yeah, yeah, yeah.
scanning.
That's
really
cool.
cool.
Like
I don't
combining
need any
Bina's senses
particular
and
emotions.
Awakeners.
Yeah, I don't need
That's-
any particular like
Sure.
specific emotions. I just want to know if I can pick up consciousness
Okay.
down there.
I'll tell you what. We're gonna. I think I will need you to spend for whatever needs to be spent from both cumulatively. Like, and then I am gonna make you roll on this too. So this is gonna be a difficulty 8 task.
Sick. Okay.
This is
Intellect,
an odd-
obviously. Yes. What?
Oh, this is an odd because Mason doesn't usually do stuff on ship, but I do have navigation as a skill. Would that help as a asset? I suppose this isn't actually. Now that I think about it, this is not really navigating actually.
Isn't the hardest place to navigate of all the heart? Sorry.
I think yes, but not for the reason Olivia said, because that made no sense.
No. I'm just trying to get the answer.
Yeah, I think so, because actually, for a reason that I will not explain unless Caitlin is successful here. So, yeah, I am gonna allow it.
Oh, sick. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So, sensing emotions, dispositions.
Yes.
Assuming. Okay.
Mhm.
That drops me down. This is not a social interaction.
No.
I get an asset from Mason helping me out.
Mm-hmm.
Do I get an asset from Awakener?
I'm gonna say no, only because I think you literally would not be able to do this without
Awakener's
Awakener.
making it possible.
Yeah.
Not... Okay. Cool.
Yeah.
But I have an asset, which means I get to drop if I get another freebie. And then I have 2 free levels of effort. I'm gonna spend 1 more and roll on a 1.
Okay, so you're down to a difficulty 1?
Yes.
Okay. Yep, you just need a 3 or better.
Well, jumped right out of the thing, but it's a 5, so I'll take it.
Okay, cool. So you sort of vanish into Awakener for a bit. You begin, at first, you feel...
I don't think she's done ship speak stuff at all on this. So I think she tries, like, at first is trying to, like, how far can I push my brain? And I think she ends up, like, accidentally, like, merging into Awakener a little bit. I think it's unintentional.
There's a moment where, like, as you're doing this, you're kind of, like, looking at Awakener, and you kind of, like, glance over at Alma, who is, like, staring up at the, like, telemetry, and then all of a sudden you see her, like, sort of snap her attention to you, and you are feeling Alma, and suddenly you just sort of merge, feeling Awakener, almost like having Alma as, like, the proxy, the translator in a way. And as you are suddenly, it's disorienting. You are feeling a lot of things that you are not accustomed to feeling. You're getting a lot of...
once before, but
Yes.
I needed to know she could do it, but she didn't know she could just do it.
Yeah, you're experiencing a lot of senses that you are not used to experiencing. But it's overwhelming at first. But then you sort of eventually like you can feel Alma kind of like guiding you kind of down and sort of like pushing out some of the extraneous stuff, just kind of keeping it like kind of...
She can kind of figure out where I'm heading, and she's kind of trailblazing for me.
Yeah, so as you take a moment and sort of orient yourself, you finally get a sense for like Awakener's sensors and catching the telemetry. You sort of find a way of, like, the best way of explaining it is like you are asking Awakener to look for something that it's undefined, doesn't understand how to define, but you are sort of asking her to look, and you are sort of interpreting things that it cannot see.
Yes. Yeah.
And so as sort of in this way, Awakener sort of functioning almost as like an emotional, like an emotional antenna for Bina here, as you just sort of like feel out, and there's sort of like this ping out, and what you get, there are at least because you can't obviously get the whole planet, but at least the part that you are scanning right now, there are somewhere in the vicinity of 3 million people.
I think that like snaps her out of it like so like abruptly because she's not used to, she's not done that really, and it was jarring and felt really weird. I don't think she just sits there like I think she almost like knocks herself like out of the chair, but like gets her balance.
Yeah.
Oh wow.
Alma just goes, "Oh no."
Okay.
Oh no. Oh no.
Oh no.
There's people down
Oh
there.
no. Oh. Oh no.
Oh.
How many?
Just from, she kind of like outlines the area that we're scanning and not any parts that like were too far from her breath. From here, we're looking at like 3 million, maybe more.
Fuck.
And that's
Oh no. Yeah.
just, yeah.
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 Well, it should be easy for us to go unnoticed then, right?
Hopefully.
Yes. Before we do anything, because first we don't quite have a plan, but what is our goal here?
Find out why we were sent here and then maybe see if these people need help.
And if those two things are unrelated, are we going to go after one or the other or both? Or because we do have a sort of a time limit.
If we can do something, we should. If it's too big for us right now, maybe we have to come back.
Yeah, our priority is finding what we were sent here to find.
Okay. I just wanted to make that, because I also believe that. I just want to make sure we're all on the same page for that as well. Okay. Again, like I said before, I think if what we're looking for is here, whoever or whatever it is, it might be hiding somewhere on the planet. And with 3 million people plus there, just like us, they probably would blend in pretty well. So I don't know if there's anything we can do to narrow it down. Ada, do you still have the what they detected, the signatures and everything?
I was thinking about that. I might be able to rig up one of Abriel's medical scanners. Maybe try to like rig it with the data that we got, that was provided to us by the caretakers. Maybe we can rig up some kind of makeshift scanner for the energy readings that we're looking for.
That'd be perfect.
It's not something that would work really anywhere other than on the surface of the planet, mainly because it's far too short a scan range anywhere else. But I think it could work.
Worth a try.
Yeah,
I think.
Are we able to land on the planet? Is that something that's possible?
No. Here, look at this. I've been sort of scanning some of the since we got in. And Ada sort of throws up on the screen. You can see there, like you can see sort of like a holographic image of the planet itself, and then around it you can see as like there's like a thin layer that sort of spreads itself out around the planet. That is a planetary defense shield. Most often for use in like military installations, worlds that have like significant strategic value. Those that are intended to be shielded or intended to be on sort of like the forefront of any sort of major conflicts. There is no way that we're getting in and out of that without some major firepower. At least not the ship. As
I
far
don't think we
as
need to worry about that though.
I'm not sure we do. Yeah, I'm not sure we need to worry. But
I can take us down there. Peach, I think you can as well with your abilities, so it shouldn't be too much of an issue.
Getting in and out isn't going to be the problem. The problem is going to be communicating to anybody who's left out here.
Yes.
And that's going to be a problem because, and they look at you, Taeyeon, and says, because if you don't know where to find Awakener, getting back is going to be an issue.
That's what I was thinking.
And it will be extremely unwise for us to stay in one spot for too long.
Yeah. Okay, worst case scenario. I can, in my suit, I can survive in space for a short amount of time. enough to at least send out a ping for you to let me know where you are, and I can just quickly teleport back down, or use my doppelganger to switch places within a few seconds again to be back down on the planet.
Horrifying.
Yes, but I've been out in space before.
Hey.
Honestly, not.
Mason goes for a high five.
He jumps. Turn jumps to high five Mason. Yeah, I can survive for at very least a minute, probably maybe slightly less than that, but I think that's all I'll really need for you to send us a ping, for me to send you a ping and then you to send one back.
While we're talking about this, Venus sitting next to Alma and is like, like leans over to like whisper and is like, I think I just put my brain in Awakener.
Yeah, I felt that. It was really weird, but
It wasn't
yeah.
on purpose.
No, that's okay. Awakener's not upset, or if Awakener can awake, I don't think she can get upset. It's
That's good.
but yeah, I
I
mean,
don't think I tripped over anything or anything. It seemed
No.
like I left it the way it was when I got there. Does
yeah,
that stay?
I don't know. Can you do it again?
Okay. Venus gonna try to get into like just the
Mhm.
sensors again.
It's-
Not with
yeah.
like emotions, but just like
Yep.
to put like her.
It's a little
her
easier this time.
perception through the sensors.
It's a little easier this time now that you kind of know what to look for, know kind of what what kind of mindset to get into. It is a little easier, but you do manage to sort of like once again merge with the ship, feeling that sort of disorientation and overwhelming sort of feeling of like basically feeling as your own senses, all of the ship's sensors and all of the passive scans that it's doing, feeling like the vacuum of space on the outside of Awakener, all of those things, feeling them as if they were your own senses, but almost immediately finding it like sort of dampened by like Alma's presence.
Yeah.
Oh.
Can I like, with my brain? I know Alma's in here with me,
Mhm.
but like, I want to see if I can use my brain to type out, "Hi Alma" on the terminal in front of Alma.
Yeah. Yeah, you do it. And you can feel her like surprise and then like amusement. And then you just see on your screen, hi. And
She's gonna come back out of it.
Mhm.
Like, do you think that would work at a distance?
I don't know. Maybe. If it does, maybe I'm sure there's a limit on it, but I don't know. If it works off of the planet's surface, I mean, I think we'd have to be pretty close.
Well, we'll try it maybe when we get there.
Okay.
That's something. I don't know. That was neat and not where I thought today was going, but
Yeah, no, definitely not.
there's serious conversation about what we're gonna fucking do happening right here. And me and Elmer are like whispering in front of terminals.
Yeah.
So Jade, explain it to me again. So you have a VR set, and then you choose a character, but
It's more like-
then you.
Well, it's more like the rig, from what I understand, it scans. It's a full body immersion rig. So like it scans all of your, it scans your body and basically creates an avatar in or a Sona is what they're called in the world of your choosing, and you have a different one for the different games within the game, and basically. You can change them if you need to, or you could just play as yourself.
So do we need those to go on this planet, or can we just go as ourselves?
I'm guessing we can just go as ourselves, but what I'm more concerned with is if the planet is real, that means the game is real. So what are players running around in?
Honestly, I think the only thing we can do is go down there and see.
Is there anything else that you can tell us
Yeah.
about this game that's going to be helpful? Like any.
Without knowing specifically where you're gonna go, no. I do know that there's like friendly non-player sonas are while you players can't harm them, they can sort of. I've seen some videos of players sort of messing with them in some cases, but they can't directly cause them any harm. Wait, are those actual people? Ugh.
That's what I was wondering too.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay.
Only one way to find out, I guess.
Pick a coordinate and
Wow, this is
Drop
really
down.
not where I thought today was going.
no.
Let's go.
Yeah. Just before we do go, Jade, from the videos you've watched, you mentioned friendly non-player, non-persona characters.
Yeah.
I'm assuming there are not so friendly ones that we might come across.
There are some in some of the games. Yeah. But usually those are pretty clearly marked, although it's hard to say without the interface rig if you'll be able to tell
Yeah.
the difference. I don't know.
Okay, so just keep an eye out. Any of them non-people, monsters, beasts, do anything with We're about
Yeah.
in that regard?
Any and
Okay.
all. It depends really on where you go.
Yeah.
Ada just says, I might be able to help with that, actually. Now that we're closer, I've sort of pinpointed it's not going to narrow it down a lot, but I can rule out these areas. And you can see she like sort of swipes away some of the like map segments that Jade had Alma focusing on. She says,
They go like gray and dim and
Mhm.
fade to the background
Yeah,
like
says, so-
locked choice.
Locked regions.
you're, yeah.
Level locked.
your, your best bet is going to be somewhere in between these three regions here. And you see as like it sort of shifts between like the three that are kind of left is the region that has the city kind of near the coastline. The adjacent region, which appears to be like a sort of vast expanse of enormous mountains. And then beyond that, there's that sort of like dark, blackened kind of landscape that was turning back irradiated sort of signals.
Do we know, Jade, do you recognize the other two? What games they might be?
Jade says these two are from the adventure game, and so is that one, but that one's grayed out. But I've kind of looks at Sedona like with a question on his face, and she looks back and just says, "No." Says, "Yeah, I've never seen that one. It's not from any game that I recognize."
The shadowy irradiated one, I'm guessing.
Mm-hmm.
Mystery. So the
Yeah.
mountain one was an adventuring game.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yeah. And Sedona shakes her head, says, "Me neither. I've never seen any of that. In fact, in the adventure game, this is," and she kind of like traces a line like through the middle of the mountain range. She says,
Mhm.
"This is the border right here." There's, as far as I knew, that was the edge of the game world. But if it's a real world, this is a lot to wrap my head around.
Yeah.
Probably just gonna get worse. Sorry.
I have one more kind of pressing question about this. So, how does death work in this game?
Die the game, do die now. Sorry.
Jade and Sedona look at each other, and Jade says, "I mean, usually your Sona there are certain like spawning nodes. Most of the Sonas, depending on the game that you're playing, there's different ways of there's different injection points, but like in quite a few of them, you sort of get airdropped in.
I think for the fact that we haven't heard about this, I think for the most part the players are fine if they die. I think I'm definitely very worried about the non-players though.
Yeah, I'm thinking about the implications on all ends of this, and it's really making my brain go.
Not to have like the worst thought ever, but what do we do if these players' sonas are being projected over real actual people down there?
Then we figure it out when we get there.
That's fair. We're good at that.
Uh,
Just throwing it out there that it might be a possibility.
this whole time, Mason, as soon as this conversation started, Abriel had like reached over and grabbed your wrist and has been like death squeezing your wrist this whole time, basically. And you can, as you're looking at her, you can see like, and Bina, you can feel it too, but you can see like this just sort of like barely contained, like there's just disgust and outrage, like that she is feeling, like, and she says, "Let's just get in there. Who's going?"
Yes.
Oh, it sounds like you're going as well.
Might be good.
If you
She
want to go,
she says, "Might be worthwhile to have somebody with some medical expertise down there just in case."
Especially if we're going to be using some of your equipment to maybe look for some stuff.
Yeah.
Okay.
I will go as well.
I think we should let's start off with the city by the bay. Be a bit easier to blend in there, and at the very least, we probably won't have to worry about beasts and monsters and that the like. I don't know.
Evotopia is a like a walk around talking to people, or is it a building game?
Evotopia. So just to explain above game.
Yeah.
Evotopia is basically like, it is a sort of platform that under which there are many different games. Some of them are very specific. Some of them are very specific, like city builders and like
Okay.
but some of them are and they are very, those are tend to be separate. The ones that are sort of connected in some cases are the ones that are sort of like thematically similar.
So the city that we saw, what game would be there?
That okay, that is from one of the from the kind of adventuring game, essentially.
It is the adventure game. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yes. There's yeah, so that is sort of from kind of the adventuring sort of thing. There appear to be a variety of genres of the game that are more like the adventuring game. The one in particular that you are seeing that like these areas, Jade would explain, as sort of more of like a frontier exploration type game.
Got it. Okay, I misunderstood that it was a separate. I thought. Okay. Yes.
Yeah.
Got it. I've internalized.
Mm-hmm.
Jade, I know this is kind of a, we're kind of walking into a situation we don't know a lot about, but I think that it could be really useful if you wanted to come with us.
Yeah, I was gonna say it if somebody else didn't.
Yeah, no, that would be perfect.
Is that how many are we at? 1, 2, 3, 4, 6 of us? Is that okay?
Maybe Jade, Sedona, stay here so that we can have someone above who also knows about what's going on here.
Yeah.
Is that okay with you?
She kind of looks at Jade and he says, "Yeah, I got it. I'm okay." She says, "Are you sure? I have to see what's down there." Okay. Yeah, I'm fine with that.
Is 6 okay, Taeyeon?
I'll probably need some help from 2-1, but I think I can get it done.
Okay.
And yeah, he'll reach.
I mean,
into
Peach
side.
could maybe get us back too, or something like that.
Yeah, I could get us back for sure. I haven't visited this location. I don't know it reasonably well, so I can't get us down.
Back.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I just need to know like the exact coordinates of it so I can get us down there.
Yeah.
So yeah, I'll like reach in and pull out Taeyeon, and have me and Taeyeon teleport everyone down.
Great.
Cool.
All right. So
yeah, because I can only do up to my effort, and I have 5 efforts, so there's 6 people, so
okay.
I need some extra help there.
Then is it 6 people or is it 6 people total? 6 additional people or
6
6
people
people
total?
Is it? Because I think a lot of these abilities, they say you
yeah.
and...
Oh, you mean my power? Yes.
Yeah.
It's you, me, and equal to my effort.
Okay, and your effort is
5.
Isn't...
Yeah, you.
Yeah, that's...
You
my
and your
effort's 5
effort.
right now.
You can do all of us.
Yeah, you can do everybody at once.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. My bad.
Yeah.
Okay.
Good.
Those
Save you
some of those
resources.
abilities are very confusingly worded because they sort of like assume that you're part of it, and they just sort of like
Yeah.
yeah.
Okay. Oh, that's perfect. Yeah, and I can just do that for 8. So yeah, I teleport. I use traverse world to
Great.
teleport us down to the city.
Sounds good.
At the bay.
So you feel once again space fold between you and there, and it's almost like you're zooming in a little bit with that sort of like distortion at the edge of your vision, that sort of bubble-like distortion as space folds, and you step on through, stepping out into what looks, for all the world, like a regular city streetscape. And as you look around, there are people who appear to be walking about, doing in sort of like their going about their daily lives. Very few of whom actually took notice of you as you just sort of appeared in the middle of nowhere.
Probably the most normal place we've ever done that.
Yeah. But as you sort of step in and kind of begin looking around, that is where we're going to take our break. So we will be back.
So
I know you're going to play a
so
game
excited about
today.
this. The moment you said that, I was like, oh my fucking god, this is a fucking anime.
Before we go on our break, I would like to take a moment to thank our Patreon writers room for this.
No way.
This was something that they came up with a long time ago. Yeah. This was sometime last year, I think, that they came up with this. So we're finally there. So yeah. Thank you, Patreon Writers Room. Y'all did. Yeah. Our patrons were responsible for this monstrosity.
Amazing.
All right,
You
everybody.
guys feel bad if it kills us.
I wouldn't mind dying this way, honestly.
I hope if any of us, if we ever get TPK'd, I hope it's by the Patreon World Builders design on accident.
Fair enough.
On
Really
your
good way to go
conscience.
All right. So we'll be back in a few minutes. Stretch your legs, walk around, move your body, do what you got to do. We'll be back in just a little bit. Don't go anywhere. Bye. And we are back. Hi, everybody. Welcome back. When we left off, the party was following up on a lead from that a ship or something that had crash landed on a supposedly remote and uninhabited planet, only to find that it was in fact a planet that was the game world for like a VR video game within that was popular throughout the galaxy. We left off with y'all arriving at the excuse me, the outskirts of the sort of large, seemingly the only city in the region that you are sort of were given as potential for finding the ship that you're looking for. And so hold on a second. So, as you find yourselves in what is essentially it's a city, yes, but it is a very low technology city, to the degree that it is essentially, I don't think there's a good in narrative way for me to explain this. So essentially it is the like whatever like the pseudo medieval fantasy is analog is in this galaxy. It is essentially and I will emphasize this, it in no way looks like, you know, our image of like Earth fantasy
medieval, yeah.
But not being able to imagine something that literally does not exist and has never existed on this planet, we're just gonna have to use our imaginations here. I'm told that's like part of this whole process or something. I don't know.
I came here specifically
I don't
to
buy
roll
it.
dice and read numbers, honestly.
Drac wants to get on the grid. Drac wants the grid. He wants to do a hardcore old school dungeon crawl with maps, pencils,
Let's go.
grids. Let's go. All right. So, as you find yourselves very out of place in this city, you look around, and people seem to be wearing like a mishmash of of garb from like a variety of different cultures, essentially like pre-tech civilizations. So you see there's a whole bunch of different cultures represented in this sort of, it is basically just sort of like the collective. So like we have what we think of as like in our world as like the pseudo medieval fantasy, right? Fantasy land, right? Um it's basically the equivalent of that in this galaxy, which is really truly just a hodgepodge of like like pseudo historical pre-tech periods for all of the cultures in it. So like this is like would be a very familiar sort of scene for many of you. Like maybe you are not like immersed in the genre itself, but you would have at least as much awareness, genre awareness, I would say, as anybody in our world who's not super into fantasy. Basically,
Everybody's seen like space Sparta movies, stuff like that, like, or like the space,
right? Like
space
if
Tolkien, like those all
right,
exist here.
like
Everyone's
if you go,
watched Lord of the Conduits. So like, yeah, we all.
You are the one conduit to rule them all.
The envelope that has to go.
Damn.
That's what they're trying to do.
Oh my
That's
God.
what they're trying to get the one conduit to rule them all. Damn it.
legitimately, like it basically be like the same thing as if you were to say like, hey, you know, like elves to somebody who's like not interested in fantasy in our real world. It's like though like you at least have that baseline level of awareness. Whether or not you have more awareness or genre understanding beyond that for yourself, I will leave that up to you to determine
This
for yourself.
reminds me of a historical fashion show I went to once on Amazon Prime. Very weird.
Honestly, that's perfect because I think we kind of stick out like a sore thumb.
Is there
Let's
like an
walk.
alley we can tuck into? or
Let's
something?
walk.
Yeah. There's definitely is like a little like, yeah.
Just to like perceive for a second while we get our bearings and
Yeah.
what we're gonna do, so we're not in the middle of a.
I think I'm like looking at Jade.
Yeah.
in this circumstance.
He's just like looking around, sort of taking everything in, with a mixture of like awe and horror on his face, like as he's like looking around this whole place. He finally like looks at you and says, "Oh, sorry. Did you say something?
Is there a way that we can change clothes to be less conspicuous?
Right. Well, there's going to be vendors towards the city center, but the problem is we sort of don't have any money. No in-game currency.
What does
But-
it look like?
Well, it's sort of these like metallic discs, like little coins, like ancient, like ancient coins. You see them in museums and collectors,
Okay.
and collections, that kind of stuff.
Bina, if you could maybe grab one invisible, I could probably make more.
Oh, that's a good idea. We could do that. Oh, wait. Before we do anything, we're just gonna stop for a second. I want to try to ship speak back to Awakener. See if
Okay.
I can do it from here, because ship speak it's a planetary scale, or planetary distance. So theoretically,
Yes.
off-world. Bina doesn't know this, but theoretically, the ability I could connect to Awakener.
Sure.
from here.
Theoretically,
So she's
yes.
gonna kind of like.
If here's the thing, it is a
Sorry.
planetary distance.
Yeah.
So theoretically, if Awakener was close enough to the planet, that could be the case. So like at the moment, you kind of like reach out trying to do that thing. It's a lot more difficult when you're not on
Oh, yeah.
Awakener, as you like sort of try to get into that
it's
same
new.
mindset. Yeah, you're trying to like settle in, and you feel almost like you feel that sort of like vague
like,
disorientation, like you're
out of
just
the-
there, but then it seems like you lose it quickly, but not. It's not like you didn't lose focus. You were still in the mindset. It seems like you lost Awakener,
Okay. Just out of range or something, like they're moving. Maybe.
probably, And considering what Ada said before you left,
They're gonna start bouncing around.
yeah.
Okay. Well, it's good to know that maybe I could get them later.
Wait a second. We don't need to steal money. What am I thinking? And Peach just kind of in her hand, she kind of just like, you see her think for a second and like glance around at like the people and how they're dressed.
Mhm.
And then she is like holding up a like beautiful gown that is like has like a corset piece to it, like it has like lacing on the back, but it's not like actual lacing, like you can like kind of zip it up really quick, like it's a quick one. And she's just like, I can just make us outfits. I don't know what the hell I was thinking.
I now am
That's
imagining
honestly-
Anzalonian garb pre-society, whatever Anzalonian stuff, because you know it was still just ostentatious. as
So
hell.
much.
This
It was
this
so
also
much.
has like so many pieces to it. Like it has like
Yes,
like
Yeah.
You know, that's actually perfect. That's honestly what I was like implying, but I guess it's outright said it. Can I see any cameras around walking around to see if like if,
Not
first of all, if there's any around?
not in your immediate vicinity. No, I mean you're kind of like towards
Okay.
the outskirts of this of the city. You're sort of like, you're not kind of towards where you're not really surrounded by like large buildings around you.
Yeah.
It's mostly sort of like, at most you'll see like a 3-story building nearby. But generally they tend to be like 1 and 2-story buildings. So
Okay.
you're kind of what seems to be some kind of like, if you had to guess, it looks like a residential neighborhood.
Okay. I could probably describe what like the equivalent of medieval garb is for Kameth, right? And
Yeah, probably,
Peach
yeah.
can make it from that. Yeah, so I'll just describe one and just be like just something I can wear over this as well, not like an actual suit to regulate my temperature, because this.
okay.
is
And
more
are
like
you
a-
oversized
sure about
coat.
that color? You don't want to go for like a brighter tone, or like maybe like I can maybe make it like shine a little bit with some.
I rather not shine.
Jade says, actually, they do have, and he like, you can see his like on his terminal. He kind of like glances around for a second, and, like pulls up on his terminal. He says, there actually are. And he pulls up some screenshots. He's like, there's some there. I mean, there's armor in this game. So like, if you could make it look, you could just keep wearing what you're wearing, and maybe just make it look like this, maybe.
Oh, great. Yeah. Let me see that. And Peach like kind of holds it up for a second, and then in her hand, like it's a really weird thing because she like has her hands up and then like they're empty, and then like literally in front of your eyes, like garments just appear. Like it's super creepy looking.
Thank you. Yeah, he'll just start putting the armor on.
Like I think you hear like the rustle of kind of like the clothes like come into existence, and that's like
they all kind of like,
And, like,
expand out of itself.
And like all the armor pieces, like they fit over the like your exosuit. And it doesn't look perfect, but like if somebody's not really super paying attention, like it would look like you would fit, you'd blend.
Yeah. Oh, I'm very glad that we progressed past this, but guess it did a job when it was needed.
Once
I think Peach turns. I'm not gonna act on every outfit that everybody wears, but I think Peach just turns to Mason, and you see a level of glee in her eyes that I don't think Mason has ever seen before. Directed
And
towards
Mason's
him.
heart sinks to his stomach, and you can feel it and see it.
But will he stop her?
And
Just make
she
sure it's purple.
Of course. And she like she creates you a beautiful like do you have a shade of purple in mind? Because if not,
No, not really.
she's gonna give you like a royal purple.
Oh,
excellent.
I don't know what the medieval garb would be, but I think for Mason she'd think like a slick kind of like
I mean, you could actually probably pull from like an approximation of what we above table know as fantasy
Human.
garb, because
Yeah.
Mason's human.
Mm-hmm.
like a slick tunic kind of
That's
vibe
about
with
right.
like some kind of like it's like royal purple, and then there's like some like faint like gold embossment around it, but not like super fancy, but like just enough to give it a little bit of a flair.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, it's a little tight, but I will survive.
Sorry, I had to guess
Can you
your
add-
size.
It's all right. It's all right. Can you add a hat too with a feather?
Of course I can.
Oh my god.
The best thing I've been asked in 3 years. And
This
and
is
she
everything
hands
I've
me
ever
her
wanted.
And Mason with a very like
And the feather is like
best
striped.
yes,
Oh.
good. And Mason, to the best of his ability, kind of like does like a bow that would have been done correct in his mind correctly, like a madam,
Like an over the top like theater bow,
Milady.
you know.
just like milady
He
with
just gives
that.
you her hand.
And he takes the hat and twirls it several times, and just like yeah.
Once again,
Jade-
we are thousands of years removed
Yeah.
from this period of time when it existed on Earth. So like you can be as weird as you want
Yeah.
and think it's real.
Jade's
Oh
just
my
like,
God.
stop that. Don't do that. Like he's just
I'm glad I brought my flask for this job.
this
Bina
whole time
describes-
sorry, go ahead.
I was gonna say, I think Bina describes, I think probably pre-societal Orzai, whatever, would be, I think there were like a lot of like not restrictive, so like long kind of flowing thin fabrics, but it's like layered. And I think there was probably a lot of emphasis on the multi-limb. So like there's fabric that goes between like each whatever, and it's colorful, but like it's like you pick like 2 or 3 colors on like a cream or something like that. So it's all of this fabric that's very loose and like very hanging down, very like it's boxy kind of shaped almost, but it's a little flowy. And I think that's
I
kind
love
of
that.
that's kind of what she'll ask for with like a fun hood.
Yeah.
That's what she'll describe for you.
I'll say
Perfect.
in the while all this is happening, Abriel has been very like laser focused on the scanner and has been like trying to get a reading. She's just like, yeah, whatever, just give me whatever. And it's just, looking at. Luckily, Peach, you are very well acquainted with Anzalonian historical fashion, so
Yeah. I give Abriel like the equivalent of like what a medical doctor would wear like back in medieval Anzalonian times. But
Ruffled.
Yeah, but I do make it like a little bit more sleek, like a little bit more badass.
Yeah,
knowing
I'm
that
thinking,
she's
like-
on it. And I have put a small flask of whiskey in her pocket.
it's. I'm like for some reason I'm imagining Plague Doctor goes to Coachella. Like that's
That's what I was thinking as well, honestly.
That is perfect. Better than anything I could have imagined.
yeah, like a sort of understated kind of like Coachella, but like
Yeah.
but like Plague Doctor. Yeah. Not with the
sure,
like
for
bird mask or anything like that, but you know, the kind of like long
The vibes.
yeah.
The essence, yes.
As she's kind of doing this, you just kind of hear her go, "Oh, I wish Fix was here.
Um
And he's so glad he isn't."
Abriel's looking at the scanner and says, "I'm not picking up anything." She kind of glances around and says,
Damn it.
"If it's maybe we need altitude. I don't know."
How high? You said these buildings are only 1 or 2 stories, right?
Yeah, most of them.
He's gonna hold grabby hands out for the scanner.
Yeah, here.
I'm gonna go invisible,
Mhm.
and then I'm gonna light to the highest building in the area, to the top of it, and just see
Okay.
if that does anything.
Yeah,
just to
how
give
far
us a
can you
little bit
go
of height.
with that?
500.
500 feet? Yeah,
feet.
within
It's the extra long or whatever, the one
Right.
that doesn't have a name, doesn't
Yeah,
have a
yeah,
distance
yeah.
described
So-
in the old book.
With that, I think you can get to one that's a building that's maybe 4 stories tall.
Oh, nice.
Still not like one of the tallest buildings in the city, but like the
No,
tallest
but
in the
nearby,
area
what I
for
can see.
sure.
Yeah.
You get up there, and there's a moment as you're sort of holding the scanner, kind of looking around. There's a moment where you kind of do see it sort of beep very faintly and then goes away. In kind of in the direction of like, so like the city is sort of remembering from the map, like it's located on sort of a southern coast in a bay, with the other regions that in question sort of both north of it, and as you are sort of like turning northwards, you do get just the barest hint of like something.
Like a half.
Yeah.
oh,
But like not quite. And as you kind of
Yeah.
continue trying to like catch it again, you can't quite catch it again.
something. Can I see anything else from up here? Like something that's really up high, like with my eyeballs? Like Anything? Is there like
Um,
an area where people are congregating, or is it just just generic milling?
Um, there's as you're looking around, you don't see necessarily generic milling, but you do see that there are people who, many of whom appear to be working like in and around their houses, their homes, things like that. Out here, it is a residential sort of area. Um, what you are noting, very interestingly, you are picking up, um, you pick up like sort of pings from most of them emotionally.
Mhm.
There are a few that you do not. Those are the one and the one. Sorry, I was focusing on those. Those are the ones who appear to be like as you watch them a little more closely. When you weren't paying attention, like it was
Yeah,
sort of whatever.
didn't
But like
get
when you
nothing.
watch a little closely, you realize that many of them appear to be doing the same sort of thing on rotation. Like they seem to be engaging the same actions on rotation. Like there's like like it's complex, but like complex actions, but they're doing exactly the same
Exactly
thing
the same.
in exactly the same order over and over again. And those are the ones that you get nothing from.
Okay. Interesting. Okay. She'll pop back to everyone and then disappear. Probably scare the shit out of somebody. And we'll pass the thing back to Abriel. And we'll relay what she saw about the people and what she felt, and then, I got like half of an almost ping northward.
Okay.
Planet northward.
Um,
We would have any yes.
relative to where you are
To
right
where
now,
we
by the
are.
way, relative to where you are, that is away from the city center.
Okay.
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 Well, let's
Okay.
follow the sensor.
Yeah.
We might not pick up
Northward.
anything because I just barely got something, but if we start heading that way, maybe we'll find.
Yeah.
Yeah. Are there any like as we're going, are there any like NPC type characters essentially like any any like shopkeepers or anything like that
Not
like just on the
here.
way?
No. You do see people. Every once in a while, like as you're walking, you'll see a few of them sort of like turn and look at you. Many of them do not. And seemingly don't even seem aware of your existence as you walk by. Bina again would note the difference there. But um, so there are people. You don't. They many of them seem to be sort of engaging in tasks around their homes or sort of walking uh, on the streets in some cases. Um, yeah.
I just oh sorry, go ahead.
No, you go. You go.
I was just gonna say I'm like super curious like if these people are like what the deal is with
Mhm.
people here. I just want to like reach whoever's next to me as we're walking like any of the strangers and just like kind of peek into their mind. I just want to see like what's going on, like
Okay.
if it's weird here.
Yeah.
Do you want me to point out one that's empty or has emotion for you? Do you want to pick one?
I mean, I think Peach would have just picked whoever's nearby, just
Sure.
just to kind of get a random sample.
Yeah, as you're kind of like turning, you see a perfect candidate as you're like walking, like one of there's somebody sort of walking past you, who kind of like glances at your whole group, kind of looks, and you immediately just ping like surface, sort of, like, greetings traveler, uh, what was the rest of it? And you can hear like this person just sort of like musing like, what was the rest of it? Greetings traveler, lovely day. What was it? And you see as he just like approaches as a greetings traveler and just kind of walks past you and says, shit, what was the rest of it? God damn it, I hope they weren't watching. Gonna get
Whoa.
You
and-
see Peach, Bina,
Mhm.
you would feel it. Peach, like, is her like something like her? She just, you just feel this kind of like this, like kind of like anger, and then like kind of just like a little bit of like shock.
Bina definitely like looks to you, does not prompt anything, but like acknowledges that she felt you feel something.
I think it's like Peach is kind of just like looking at all of these people as we pass, just kind of like not like reading every person's mind, but just kind of like getting a, you know, just like holy shit, like all of these people could be in this kind of situation.
As like a couple of them, if you should like as just getting any surface thoughts from some of them as you some of the ones that are a little further away that do note you, not close enough to interact, but like close enough to like see you passing. You see like, oh, there goes another group. I hope they don't come this way. I hope they don't come this way. I hope they don't come this way. And then it's like, that's the last thing I need today. And just
I want to, like, if I can, I want to figure out what these. So after Bina like gives a run through of like who that they can fill people without anything, I just think ask Bina, like, could you point me to one of them?
Yeah, for sure. The one walking to the left of us.
Be careful. Careful with talking to some of these people. It seems like they are being, like, very quietly, she says, seems like they're being forced to follow a script, and if they don't, I don't know what could happen to them.
No, I'm gonna interact with one of the NPCs, I think.
One of the ones that doesn't have any, like, doesn't have an emotional ping from. Okay, cool.
And I would like to approach one, and I guess engage in dialogue with it. It's like, hey, lovely day we're having, and like I'm just gonna like have small talk, but I'm really trying to watch, figure out what they are. Like if they're like,
what you see in front of you as you approach is an Anzalonian man, who, as you approach, how did you approach?
I just said good morning, lovely weather we're having today.
He turns to you very suddenly, like seeing you for the first time, and then it's like, you know, I've heard the raiders are in the foothills again. That's good, makes me happy for the safety of the walls.
The raiders, do they attack often?
Just says, now, where did I put that hammer?
Do I see the hammer?
No, you don't.
Okay.
When they're being interacted with, do I get anything, or is it still the same, like...
Still the same.
Okay, shell.
Seeing that they seem to like not really register what I say to them, I kind of want to like just investigate, like without touching them, because again, especially now that Peter told me that something might be watching, I want to just see what I can see about them. Do they look living? Are they constructs, hard light? What can I tell from this?
How do you do your investigation? How do you conduct this investigation?
I think initially I'd be like, when he said where did I put my hammer, I'd be like, I can help you, buddy, and pat them on the back just to see how they feel at the very least physically.
They feel physically like a person. Like physically they feel real, and like you can like he like is wearing sort of like a like very like working class kind of like Anzalonian historical garb, where basically like sleeves are like there's no sleeves to allow for like like working with you know, more basically to like keep out of like any kind of like manufacturing or anything like that out of the way, that kind of thing. You enter kind of preserve movement. You kind of feel the skin. It feels like skin. It's warm to the touch.
Okay. I'm around me and him, right? Like in immediate vicinity, I guess. Are there any other tools around?
No, I mean there doesn't appear to be. You can see that he seems to be. If you watch him for a while, you see that he does seem to be just sort of like circling the front of the house, sort of engaging every once in a while, like looking in exactly the same, stopping and looking in exactly the same spots over and over again. It's
Okay, wait. Let me see if I have a thing. Because I would like to. Like, I definitely apologize under my breath as I do this. I want to, like, if I can, scratch his hand, like, just to draw blood. I want to make it seem accidental, but I want to just make sure I know what I'm dealing with. So maybe like when I'm helping search for this hammer, I accidentally like drag a claw across the
Mhm.
back of his hand or something.
So here's the interesting thing. You do it, no problem. But what happens when you do it is there's no blood. Instead, some sort of like you can see beneath like the surface of the skin. I'm trying to think of like how to describe it. It looks like some kind of like particulate, like what do you call it? That weird sand. Um,
Oh, the sand that like it's firm when you
Moon
like kind of
sand?
push it
yes,
down. Moon
yeah, it's
sand,
like
yeah.
yeah, like that kind of stuff.
Mhm.
It looks kind of like that. Underneath the skin, and you watch as it just sort of like it stays like that for a moment, and then it just sort of closes itself over and recolors to like the skin, like the
Did I get any left behind on my
yeah. Sorry, what?
claw? Did I get any of it left behind on my claw by any chance?
Yeah,
Or
I'd say you probably did. Yeah.
okay,
It
I
like
would like
looking at it, it's still there, and it looks to be just some sort of like particulate matter that's
okay.
just like on. Yeah.
I would then hurry. I would very quickly. I would just say, so I can't seem to find your hammer, but good luck finding it. And I'm gonna head back, head back to the group. And like out loud, like loudly, I'll say, the guy over there was looking for a hammer, but I couldn't find it anywhere. And then in a
Ah.
whisper, go, um, that whatever that is definitely isn't human. It feels very not human. It's definitely not living, at least not our definition of it. And he kind of like scrapes whatever residue he has left on his nail. I tried to cut them to just see if they bleeded, and they didn't. But they were, I guess, essentially made of this kind of particulate. And it
Gabriel
just,
walk like shoulders forward said, "Let me see that," and
yeah,
just sort of like takes like
it's
a
not much,
small
but
like sample, and then just like sort of looking around, sort of starts kind of running a small analysis on it. Just okay, um, huh, interesting. Initial scans are turning back some kind of techno-organic matter. Um,
Techno-organic.
organic.
yeah, it's technological, but it mirrors organic. It seems to emulate organic matter,
So like an
Like-
android?
Like
Not-
nanogel?
Would
similar
I
to
this,
nanogel. Yeah.
with my understanding of this time, like time period, not
Mhm.
obviously the theme of the place, but the actual time period we're in.
Right.
Is this something that I know has been this widely
So
produced and discovered?
here's the thing. Once Abriel says that, it clicks kind of in your brain because there is a similar technology that is used in your time.
Okay.
The applications are various. Some of them are for um, like like lower cost, low hazard vacation, and that kind of stuff. And
Yeah.
some of it is there are military applications for it, not so much in terms of combat, but more in terms of like of reconnaissance, that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
There's scientific applications for this technology in the course of like studying or harvesting samples from hazardous environments, things like that. Basically, places where it would be dangerous for people to go. What essentially it is a biotechnical a techno-organic matter that when like certain currents are run through it can form whatever shapes they're programmed to form and will maintain them. However, when combined with sort of like remote technology and basically like um virtual virtual like yeah essentially like the full dive type, like kind of VR system um that essentially like allows like diverts your sort of like your own neural impulses into sort of like projects it into like a virtual avatar. It combines those things to basically create a whole other you, essentially made entirely of this like techno-organic matter. um like
Whoa.
through detailed scans of an individual, it can basically recreate that individual. It is essentially, for all intents and purposes, it is essentially a non-genetic clone.
Yeah.
It's a body duplicate essentially that is made entirely of like electrical currents running through this techno-organic matter that has been pre-programmed to take specific shapes, usually programmed by the very scan that was done on the user.
That is so horrifying.
Interesting. Okay.
It can be used like made autonomous as well, as is probably what you are seeing here. But it also a little bit explains how like potentially billions of players around the galaxy are able to sort of exist in the
Interact.
game world and interact here.
Okay. Ooh. Okay. So I think we might need to get a sample of some of the people we do get. So I mean, Bina, you get a sense of, maybe, because at the very least, from what I understand, that is a way for a bunch of people across the galaxy to play physically in this space. They're probably sending impulses and signals through the massive amount of data that the station is probably receiving to these body duplicates, I guess, or sonars, like points at Jade when he says sonars.
Jade.
But would you feel them if there were just signals being sent through the station?
Oh. Never tried to get an emotional read on technobiological materials.
I will say
Yeah,
I was able to read some of the thoughts of several of them, so that has, I would expect.
Those might be people.
Yeah.
They're probably not
okay.
players. Those are
Can I
just
check the
people.
one that Taeyeon interacted with?
What about him? Oh, like
Yeah.
Yeah, there's nothing. You get nothing.
Oh, okay.
Okay.
I think what we're dealing with here are these puppets that are on their set tracks, players who are the same thing as that but being controlled by people off planet, and the people who are here
Seemingly.
possibly against their will to play this little role on whatever stage they've set here.
It kind of reminds me of when Abriel was being blackmailed. It seems like it might be a similar situation.
Abriel she shakes her head and says, I don't know about that. I imagine something like this. I'm guessing these people are probably paid the same way frontier colony settlers are paid, with a place to live and the chance at a new life, with a small price that they have to play a role whenever they're, they meet these players.
Yeah.
Like a giant, horrifying theme park.
I would expect that driving factor for a lot of them is debt. So
most likely.
Quite possibly,
seems a little bit similar.
Yeah.
We should keep following the signal and definitely keep this in mind. But at the very least, so far it's sounding more and more unrelated to our initial mission here. And I'm not entirely sure how easy it will be to stop this, especially with the time country have. So maybe head for our...
Sorry. As that conversation is happening, Mason, you immediately pick up on it and become aware of somebody watching. There is a young human girl, maybe 15, probably couldn't be more, who is kind of leaning on a fence post like outside of one of the houses nearby, and as you make eye contact with her, she looks at you and just sort of like
Okay. I'm not sure what's Mason's just like, Follow me. I think we have a potential something.
Hi, great weather we've been having.
She just sort of looks at you and then just says, she like leans in and says, you're not players, are you?
Neither are you.
No. She kind of looks around and says, sorry, I didn't mean to eavesdrop, but I heard some of what you were talking about.
It's all right.
I'm Emmy.
No, but
Emmy.
She says, I live here with my parents and my brother.
Are you here on your own free will, or kept here?
I don't know
Asking the
know answer to
15-year-old.
that.
She's like,
How long have
I
you
mean-
lived here? How about that question?
I've lived here my whole life.
Okay.
Or at least, and most of it, the part of it that matters. I don't really remember anything before here, but my parents sometimes, when we're off schedule, my parents sometimes talk about, places that they used to live.
Can we help you, Emmy?
No. But I figured I might be able to help you. You don't seem to know anything about how things work around here, and I figured it might be helpful to avoid some of the, to avoid the admins.
That would be excellent.
Admins?
Yes. What is
Yeah,
that?
they're basically like community leaders, sort of. They run their own various areas of the world, but well, there are also different regions that are run by different admins. So, and it's never this. It's not always the same admins. Different people work at different times.
Okay.
So basically, yeah, they
Yeah, no, we'd love to learn as much as we can about
Okay.
this place.
This is probably not the place to do it because you never know when one of
Yes.
the players might wander by but you can come inside. My parents are at work right now, and it's just my brother and I at home right now. He's maybe
Okay.
not gonna be super happy that there's people here, but it's okay. Just come on in.
Can
Okay, yeah,
can I just get a general read on this girl? Like, is this a trap?
What? She.
Like, I'm sorry, a small child comes out and is like,
She's 15.
"You guys seem lost. You need come into my home." Like, I just wanna. I'm like, does it seem genuine? Is it like clearly a trap? Can I get a read on her?
Let's see.
I could do this in several seconds because I, as a part of the investigator, actually guarded. As being guarded, I am like skilled at discerning falsehoods and
Sure.
and disguise
That's a good
lies and
point,
all
yeah.
all that good stuff.
Yeah. Okay. I just want to get a general read
I
on
just
her
imagine that
demeanor.
there's a moment as like Peach and Mason, just like the two most suspicious
Yeah.
members of the party, both like look at each other and make eye contact.
We make eye contact.
Be like, do we
dual
think
nod.
she's good?
Tanner's like a kid. Yeah. Okay.
It's like, ready, let's go.
Yeah.
I just want to say, Remy just said, Peach stranger dangering when they're the adults in the situation.
Right.
Literally.
pointing down at a little
So-
kid, stranger, just screaming stranger danger.
So, Freeman, go ahead and give me an intellect task. The difficulty of which is going to be, I think the difficulty here is going to be 4.
Can I just, instead of like me doing my own thing, can I just like give an asset on this? Or,
Yeah,
like, assist?
sure, absolutely, yes, yep. So it's down
All
to a
right.
3 right now. Is where you're at. You're difficulty 3.
Okay, skilled in investigation.
Mm-hmm. So you're
Um,
specialized in that?
Oh yes, thank you. Specialized.
Okay, cool. So
Oh,
that's
down to 1.
Down to 1. You're down.
Assessing danger.
Yes, absolutely.
Um,
So I think that brings it down to a 0.
perception. Oh yeah, okay, I got it.
Yeah. Mason's like, all right, let me read you my resume.
Literally.
9.
Okay, cool. So, this
The
girl
first roll.
is nervous, but also excited. Um, she is trying to keep a lid on it, but it's very difficult. It's like barely contained. And she's like basically like a teenager trying to play it cool, you know?
Okay, cute.
And yeah, you you walk in. Also, Cypher Unlimited, welcome. Thank you so much for the raid. And Mary, I don't know if you're still here, but thank you for the raid as well. So
I think
you,
Peach and Mason have a system where like Mason like analyzes all of this and then like looks at Peach, and then Peach kind of just like skims his like the top of his mind for the answer, so we don't have to like communicate out loud all of those findings.
Fair enough. I think that is
That's
absolutely
very good.
Yes. That
Nonversation.
non-versation. Yes.
Non-versation.
A non-versation.
What was her name again? Sorry.
Emmy.
Emmy. Mason, by the way, your parents are not going to be mad at you for this, are they?
She looks at you and says, "What? Not if they don't know about it?"
Hey, it's always better to ask for forgiveness than for permission.
It's healthy for teens to keep secrets from their parents.
Mason's just kind of like narrows his eyes at all of this.
You
That is such a damning thing to say. I take it into a teenager. So, okay, anyway, sorry. Keep going.
Vita's sitting here like, I also did the exact opposite thing that my parents wanted me to do when I was a teen, and now I'm in space with superpowers.
And now he can travel through space and time. So I mean, he wonder.
You're, that's great to know. Thanks. Mason's just like thinks about his kids.
If you're worried about there not being any adults around, it's fine. My brother is an adult. He's my older brother. He's maybe not going to be super happy that you're here either, but you know.
We're friendly.
Yeah. You should come inside quick though before any players come by though.
Yes.
Yeah, we go. As
yeah,
soon as
you go inside.
Invites us in, we go.
Yeah. From somewhere else in the house, you just hear, Emmy, did you finish? She's like, oh, I got distracted, but hey Cal, and you just hear like you heard the sounds of like what sounded like dishes basically just suddenly stop, and then it's like, oh no, what did you do this time? And as he like, you see a human man, sort of short dark hair, much darker than hers, probably in his very like early 20s, probably only like a couple years older than Jade, like walks into the room like literally still with a dish rag in hand and just like stops and stares at all of you, and he goes, she goes, it's okay, they're not players, and he says,
Tina's like, she's like, has an idea, and she goes, wait, and she turns back to her friends and goes, does anyone have easily accessible blood? Mine is harder to get to. This is the worst way possible. Can you prove, like, can you get like a just poke? You can show them we're not. You say it in like the worst roundabout way possible. To be like, prove to them that we're not full of
Can
nanobots.
you just take our word for it?
He looks, he says, well, if you're not players, he says, I've never seen you around this neighborhood, and we're not due for another influx of personnel, so of actors.
We're here on private business.
Okay, that sounds really ominous.
Yeah, he just sounds very on.
Are we not here on private business? Is that incorrect?
No, you're correct. It's just they're like kids, you know. We don't want to like freak them out.
They're 15. Okay. He's just kind of like, okay.
Yeah, he just sort of looks. He says, "Emmy, upstairs now." She's like, "No, it's upstairs. If everything's okay, then maybe I'll let you come back down." And she just sort of stares at him and just like scowls, and then just turns and just
leaves.
See you later. And she just
Thanks
sort of,
for inviting us. We
Yeah.
really appreciate your help.
yeah, she like you can hear the sound of her not very quietly stomping up the stairs. And he just sort of stands there staring at you. He says,
Holds out a hand and says, Bina Oba, nice to meet you.
"What are you doing here? How did you... I mean, you're clearly not corporate, so...
Oh, hell no.
Very, very not.
Absolutely not.
You.
But you're
Uh,
definitely not... Who the hell are you? And what are you doing in my house?"
We were invited.
Yeah.
How long have you lived here?
I don't know, about maybe 12 years?
Do you remember before?
Yeah, what is... Hold on, you're in my house. I'm asking
Yes.
questions.
That's true. I'm
You're
just trying to figure out how much we can actually help you. Because if you... Yeah, so if you... Yes,
Look, the best way that you can help me is if you're not supposed to be here, then you should leave.
that's
Get as
very
far away from
understandable.
us as... Look, we don't need this
Look,
kind of trouble.
Hey,
Your sister saw us out there. She heard us talking about some things, and honestly, we're just here to try to find someone. That's all we're here for. We have no nefarious means. We're a little lost.
He was just going to give us some background on the lay of the land.
and I guess the rules here as well.
So, let me get this straight. You're really here. You're not Sona's or anything, right?
I'm telling you, she
I
turns back
I
to
jump
somebody.
up
Mhm.
and I just poke Peach in the cheek with the claw just to draw blood.
Oh my god.
Yeah, just like a drop of blood just like runs down her
Yeah.
cheek, and she just kind of looks at Teon and gives him a
Sorry,
dirty
I was
look.
gonna do it to Mason, but I feel like Mason would like adapt pretty quickly, and that would not have
He just says,
it's helped us out.
Good save.
"Okay, well, I guess that makes me feel a little better. But you're still not supposed to be here, so..."
Yeah.
You
no,
just hear
Absolutely.
you hear Emmy's voice from the next room over and very much not upstairs, saying, "Cal, please, let's just help them." He just says, "I told you to go upstairs." It's like, "And I didn't listen."
we will be out of your hair soon, but
Just close the door. Come on.
oh, yeah.
He says, "All right, I'll give you enough to help you get around, and maybe enough to avoid the admins, but after that, you
Fine.
need to leave."
We never saw you.
Yeah.
Never talked to you. Don't know your names. Never saw your faces.
Yeah, you never saw us.
All right. I guess you better come out here too, since you're going to anyway. And she just sort of like pokes out from behind, like just sort of like the sort of comedic lean from
Yes,
like
yeah.
around the corner, and then just sort of skips over to him and just sort of like rocking on her heels. And he says, "Try not to look so excited about this." All right. Basic rundown. So, this is a game, which I'm guessing you figured out already.
Yes.
Yeah.
It's not public knowledge. It's actually very strongly stipulated in our contracts that we aren't supposed to talk out to. We're under very strict NDAs not to talk to anyone outside of the outside of Evotopia about anything that happens here. Not that we could anyway, because all communications in and out are blocked except for those used by the admins. Let's see, what else? Players who come in use sonas. You seem to have figured out that part as well. He kind of like gestures vaguely to like the cut on Peach's cheek. He says, "Some of us who populate the world are real flesh and blood people, just living our lives most of the time, unless we come in contact with any of the sonas. They are marked. And we always know the sonas. They have I mean, they're marked. That you'll it's hard to explain, but you'll know when you see them. Sonas can't harm real people. It's part of the programming built into the nanotech that makes them up. They can't harm us. They can sure make our lives extremely fucking difficult, though, when they feel like it. And sometimes they do feel like it, because as far as they know, we're not real. Under no circumstances are we to break character or in any way let on that we're not part of a virtual world. We kind of go in shifts in a lot of cases. Sonas generally aren't allowed into homes except for in very specific marked residences, usually due to events. So they're not able to come in here. Our homes are really the one place that we have that we can be ourselves, without worrying that a player might happen by.
Okay. What kind of marks? How are Sonas marked again?
That
Should we
it's hard to explain,
try
but
and mimic that?
you'll see it. I don't think so. Any Sona will just assume that you're part of an event or something.
Okay.
It might be better to avoid interacting with them, just because if you do find them and have to interact with them, I suggest just playing along. If not, if you manage to stay, it's nothing that you do is gonna fool the admins. They'll know right away. So admins
marked?
admins are marked too. I'm not sure how to explain this, but I'll give you the Sonas are marked in green, and admins are marked in yellow. It's hard to explain. You'll know it when you see it.
From anything you remember, was there anything how do Sonas, the nanotech that Sonas are made out of, do you know how they know that you are a person, I suppose? Were you implanted with a chip? Does it scan you? Or does it just seem to know that the difference between a Sona and, an actual person?
I think they just know. They're
Okay.
basically, basically within. Although now that you mention it, he kind of looks over at Emmy, and she's like, "Oh, the inoculations." He goes, "Yeah, maybe."
Okay. I was worried about
Inoculations.
that.
We are required every year to take inoculations. The admins bring them by. It's a whole thing. They basically shut down whole areas of the city so that they can do it residential area by residential area. Those sections during that time are closed down to Sonas for maintenance.
Yeah, I was worried
Yeah.
about that because if
Our
we
fair
come
game.
across any griefers, we're pretty much fair game to Sonas because we don't have the inoculation.
Yeah. And the next one's not due for another few months, so.
Do the Sonas have what's the primary target here? Do they fight each other, or they're
So in some places, but there's no fighting within the city, except in specifically marked event zones. But out in the wilderness, it's pretty much fair game.
Will an admin know that we're not players if they see us?
Probably, yeah, almost certainly. So best to avoid them as much as possible. As
Are
far as huh?
Are admins Sonas as well, or are they like you?
I'm not sure. I think they might be, but I genuinely don't know. It would make sense if they are, just as it would give them a lot more, administrator power, basically. let's see, what else? Emmy just sort of like nudges him, says, "Tell him about the Dark Zone." Look, they're not. Wait, you're not going to the Dark Zone, are you?
Depends on
of-
where the thing we're looking for.
Yeah, as of
Ends up.
now, undetermined.
Yeah.
Okay, look. On the other side of the mountains, the next region over is the mountains. On the other side of the mountains, Sonas can't go there, at least not from here. But sometimes, from what I heard, there are ways for Sonas to get there, just not from inside. It's a special region that is... It's not part of the game. Jade nods. He says, "Yeah, I was wondering about that. That's that area." He like pulls up his terminal and when he pulls up his terminal, both Emmy is like open mouthed, just like staring at this thing, and Cal is like curious, but like is much more reserved. And Jade says, he kind of like stares and is like, here, and like is projecting the map up, and he goes, "Yeah, that's the Dark Zone. There's no way to get there from here for Sonas. For us, we would have to cross the mountains. It's tough, but doable. There's all kinds of things that live out there, though. Just nasty creatures, raiders. Sometimes raiders are... the raiders are like... he kind of like gestures across the street towards where you can see the guy who's still looking for his hammer. The raiders are like them, but, you know, they're not people. They're just programmed Sonas. And he says, but the Dark Zone. The only reason I know of it is because some people... You can see that there's a very sudden change in both of them as they are, like, seemingly recalling the same thing. Both of them looking, like, suddenly much more somber. And he goes, "The Dark Zone is where they send you if you get too many marks on your record. Basically breaking character in front of players, disrupting players, really doing anything to interfere with them that isn't part of any sort of predetermined events. You get sent to the Dark Zone when your contract gets terminated. Don't really know what's there, but I know it's bad news. It's not part of the game as far as I know."
Thank you. No, this is
Only
useful.
reason I know about it is because I heard a couple of Sonas talking, a couple of players Sonas talking about the Dark Zone and how they went there. From what I understand, we aren't... when we get sent there, they deactivate whatever it is that makes it so that the Sonas can't harm us.
Okay. Okay. Thank you. That's actually a huge help, and with that information, I think it definitely narrows down where the thing we're looking for is likely to be. The Dark Zone seems to be like an almost perfect place to hide things without people noticing. If they're able to hide people there, I'm sure they can hide other things as well.
He frowns suddenly, and as you say that, and then just and very quickly gets his expression under control.
I want to know what that felt like.
That was surprise, sudden curiosity, and then like fear. And Emmy just sort of looks at him and goes, "Wait, Cal, didn't you see something?" He says, "Stop."
What?
Yeah, what did you see?
Damn it, Emmy, this is why I wanted you to stay upstairs. He says, something came down. I don't know, maybe a month, 2 ago. I've never seen anything like it before. I honestly thought it was some part of an event, but then the admins started freaking out and they started shutting down whole sections. In fact, the whole region got shut down for a week. No player sonas in or out. It was great. It was fantastic not having to deal with that. But from it looked like, I mean, from what I remember of them, it looked like a ship. I mean, I haven't seen one since I was 7 or 8, but that's what it looked like, and it looked like it was crashing. It went towards. It did go north. It towards the dark zone probably, but if you're lucky, maybe if that's what you're here to find, if you're lucky, maybe it landed somewhere in the mountains.
Yeah. Thank you. We'll make sure that we don't leave a trail back to you. We
I
can
would
assure
appreciate
that.
it, because the thing is, you have something that none of the Sonas have, and that is you have knowledge that we are actual people living here. There will be real consequences for us. We've already had one family member sent to the dark zone.
I was about to ask, who are they? Should we
Don't bother.
There's no one you want us to look for while we're there.
Could you do you have what currency do you use here?
Here, he like walks over to a drawer, to like a dresser drawer, and opens the top drawer and like sort of rifles around and says, "Here," and he like flips you like a coin basically, and it is just sort of like, it is a gold coin that has the Trinity Star logo on it. Yeah.
Is this the only denominator? Anything smaller than this, or is this
No,
it?
pretty much just that.
I hand it over to Peach. Do you think you can make a couple of those just in case we end up needing them?
Yeah, for sure. Just don't take them too far away from me. Otherwise, they will. Peach kind of like sticks like her hand, takes it and like kind of sticks her hand in her pocket with it, and then like kind of a second later pulls out a handful of like several more, and then hands the original one.
He takes it and like looks, and he is very clearly like very concerned by that, but doesn't say anything. Emmy is just like, "Whoa, how did you do that?"
I have very deep pockets.
Okay.
Question. What's something that would get your block shut down? Maybe we can give you a few days of reprieve on our way out.
Usually doesn't happen unless there's maintenance.
But what would make them need to do maintenance? I suppose is the question.
I suppose maybe if some of the utilities broke down.
You know, we
Peach.
can get to those?
Oh yes, we need to know how to get to those. Peach, you know what a cloud bell looks like, right? You remember?
Of course. It's in Venus nightmares every night.
Every night. She's not kidding.
Did you have somewhere you wanted? Was there somewhere else you were going with that, or was?
Just if we can find a place to actually put them, they can do the rest of the work.
Oh, you madman.
Every once in a blue moon.
You just see like the gears grinding.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
Look, if you're planning something, just understand that if the block gets shut down, it's not just gonna be like vacation. I mean, they come in here and they question everybody to make sure that none of us were the source of whatever disturbance required it. It's a whole involved process, and it's much more likely to get all of you caught and therefore us caught.
Bummer. I was just hoping to get the sonas out of your hair for a little while.
That's why we have schedules.
Yeah. Okay. I think we probably should get.
Yeah. Best thing you can
Okay,
do, I
done.
think, is get whatever it is that you came for and then leave.
Yeah.
Thank both of you so much for your help. And if you ever come into a situation that is incredibly dire for you, you're about to be sent to the dark zone, anything, a family member is threatened, anything, we're going to give you a way to contact us. And we'll help you. I give you my word. I'm like thinking I'm like Ada has to be able to figure out some way for us to be able to contact the people here. And if not, then Peach is just gonna have to spy on these people a lot.
He shrugs and says, just go. He just gets up and walks back in the direction. You can hear the sound of the dishes starting up again.
Peach
Emmy,
kind of looks at Emmy.
Mhm.
Yeah.
yeah, she like is sort of staring after him and then just sort of looks back and says, he's really nice usually. Well, sometimes. But
That was perfectly nice.
he's just, we don't like to talk about our uncle who got sent to the dark zone. Oh,
What's his name?
it doesn't matter. We know he's gone. But if you go to the dark zone, I've heard rumors. There's an ex-actor who was sent out there. They call him the outcast. The Sonas do, the players. They call him the outcast. They apparently he's somebody who got sent there forever ago and managed to survive somehow. It's most people don't think he really exists, but Jade frowns and says, "Wait, why does that sound so familiar? I feel like I've heard of this." Yeah. And he starts kind of like scrolling through, like, and sort of saying, yeah. This makes sense now. I was wondering, I came across these, like, this post with these shots from the game that didn't make any sense to me because it didn't look like anywhere in the game. But look, and he sort of shows you, and you can see, a like darkened, and just sort of like the land itself is just sort of like, it almost looks burned, but but there's also, like, there is clearly some kind of foliage that is also, that has that sort of like dark brown ashen kind of color, and you see what looks to be like a very toxic looking lake, with strange like bioluminescent growths that are just sort of like along the edges of it. And just past that, you can see where there are these sort of like spidery looking trees. You can see what is very clearly a very blurry image of a figure who is walking with some sort of like pole arm over the back, and it like hood up, masked, with like the kind of mask that's like, it all seems to be like cloth wrapped, and then there's like some kind of like goggles or something that is like very, very similar to, like, I'm thinking like kind of like Tusken Raider, like the eye sort of like protrusion kind of thing. Very much like that, but just wearing like sort of like tattered clothing, just like very blurry image in between some
Bigfoot
trees.
style.
Yeah. And as you're looking at it, yeah, you can see this figure. Jade says this is probably the clearest image. But yeah. And Emmy nods. She's, yeah. I don't know what this person's like, but
Tough, probably.
yeah.
I
If-
imagine they'll probably know what we're looking for as well.
If anybody knows that place who'd be willing to help you, I mean, maybe them.
Okay.
Okay.
I would say don't trust any players that you come across in there.
Yeah.
Right.
The kind of people who go there, who know about it and go there, they're not good people.
Okay. Thank you, Emmy.
Thank you very much.
Again, thank you for your help.
Good luck.
We'll be extra sneaky, and then just for her edification, I'm gonna disappear.
She just sort of,
Actually, that's a good point. We probably don't want to be seen leaving this place, so I could just jump us. I know the coordinates at
I'd
least.
show up again. Yeah, that makes sense.
Jump
Yeah.
us, or- yeah, sounds good.
And before we go, though, I do we have anything else we want to ask Emmy or say to them?
Good luck and be safe. Oh.
Yeah, be safe.
yeah,
And
you too.
Listen to your brother. He seems pretty stressed, and every so often, maybe just don't give him too much of a hard time.
I don't know.
See
It's
if he
kind of
wants a
your
hug or something.
kind of your job as younger sister, I think.
All
And
right.
seriously, Emmy, I'll find a way to maybe keep us in contact.
She smiles
Girl,
and says,
high five.
yeah.
And I make her palm glow. I want to make her palm glow.
She looks at
It'll go away once we leave.
Whoa.
He was having so much fun
Yeah.
showing off. It's good.
Yeah.
It
just-
fades.
Yeah, you just here. Emmy, come help. Okay. Bye.
Bye, Amy.
She like puts her glowing hand still in her pocket, and then like, what?
Right. Just keep an eye out the door frame.
Uh-huh.
So when she goes into the kitchen so that she watches so she can see us
Yeah.
teleport out because I think she'll think it's cool.
Mhm.
Yeah. And once everyone's has their hand on me, I'm going to teleport us. I have like the display of the map up, and I teleport us to like the other side of the mountain, up closer to the dark zone.
Sure. So yeah, you, with that, all of you see space fold once again as you step through into what is basically as you step in, you can see that you are find yourselves in a deep valley within the mountains. And looking around you, you can see there is sort of like a looking up above you, there is an iridescent sheen through the sky, like a flat plane that rises vertically in front of you. Some ways down the path, or on the other side of the valley basically. And you can see even there at the other end of the valley from where you are looking, you can see where immediately on the other side of that barrier the terrain goes from this sort of like lush mountain valley with sort of like frost covered grasses and things like that. Immediately, no transition, just very suddenly is that blackened landscape that you saw before, with the trees that the leafless trees that sort of stretch towards the sky like bony fingers reaching for the heavens. And a greenish fog that seems to permeate the whole area beyond.
Oh. Yeah, I think they said that they could. Abra, I think you said you could detect radiation coming from there, or some form of it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
She just sort of like clicks the scanner and says, "Okay, I'm getting a reading. What we're
Okay.
looking for is definitely in there, but this is not accurate. So,
Yeah.
we're gonna have once we're in there, we're basically on our own, finding this thing, this ship. But yeah, looking at it, I'm getting some low-level radiation, nothing life-threatening as far as I can tell, but that's there. Who knows further in?"
Okay. Yeah, I definitely could have tried to bring it in, but any amount of radiation could have off-put my transportation hugely. So this is the closest I could get.
Yeah.
That's good.
You see Bina immediately. You kind of look over. You see Jade has like he's sat down on like on a boulder, and is just sort of sitting there, and just sort of like has his hair like in between his like fingers, just sort of like head resting his head.
What am I feeling?
You're not entirely sure. Just kind of like empty, really. Like he's just kind of like he doesn't really like. It's not entirely clear what it is
Oh,
that
I'm
you're feeling.
going over to him immediately
Yeah,
then.
and
I'm
he
just
just
gonna
sort
kneel
of
right in front of him.
yeah, he just looks up at you and just says, "Sorry, I
No. Don't apologize. What's happening?
I just had no idea. This is
Oh.
horrible. This is sick."
And we're gonna do something about it.
Yeah.
We know now.
Yeah.
People know. People are gonna know.
Oh, we'll make them know.
Abriel walks over to him, puts her hand on his shoulder. She says, "I feel you, kid. But right now we've got a job to do and we got to focus on that." But yeah. Same. He looks up at her and nods.
Bina pops up and offers all 4 hands down to him.
Yeah, he grabs your hands and stands up. Says, "Okay. I'm ready."
Oh,
We're on our own here, but we have each other.
Okay.
Now all of them have us too.
All right. And with that, you all turn and begin kind of making your way down through the valley, towards that sheen. As you reach it, you walk up to it, and very tentatively, Abriel just sort of like reaches out a hand and touches it lightly, and there's like a very soft ripple along the sort of energy field. Bina, the interesting thing is that you're noticing that you're getting sort of like a low level, like photonic resonance from this, like that you're just feeling it, like you are
Yeah.
feeling it. But
I kind of poke it and I turn to Peach and I'm like, is this like biosphere technology?
I don't know. That's a great question. Does it look like that?
Doesn't look like anything you've seen. And as you sort of, Abriel sort of puts a hand through it, and says, let me see something," and like pulls out the sample that Taeon got earlier, and she just sort of takes the sample and just like throws it at, like, basically like pours it into her hand and blows it at the wall. Um, it hits the wall and you can see where like it ripples, but it like the particles stop. They do not continue through. They just
And fall.
Yep.
Yeah.
okay.
so I suppose that means anything we come across there's going to be a person, most likely, or at the very least someone who's crossed over from this side to that.
Or the players who came in from outside the game somehow. The ones who. Abriel shakes her head. She says, "Do you think?" She kind of like looks over at Jade, who's sort of like examining like a little further down, and she just kind of lowers her voice and says, "You don't think that the players who choose to go there, I mean, there's no way that's legal, so it's got to be some kind of, I mean, but there's also no way they don't know about it. You
Yeah,
don't think, I mean, I've heard in the past rumors of planets where the wealthy and sick can hunt people.
hunt.
You don't think this is
I wouldn't be surprised.
I think they can do whatever they want in there.
I don't think it's out of the realm of possibility that they might know exactly what they're doing.
well? Then we all
I can hope not, but
then we all really need to be on our guard.
Yeah,
I doubt it's just people and players in there.
yeah.
also there's creatures, nasty monster things too. So
Okay.
Mason pulls out his handgun and just kind of like checks the chamber to make sure there's one in there and just kind of keeps it on his chest and just kind of taps it.
I'm gonna give
We'll be ready.
a stimulate to Mason.
Oh, I'm still not used to it.
Sorry, I should have given you a heads up. My bad.
No, it's okay.
Can I do multiple of these? Yeah, I'll give one to the two of you also. So
Awesome.
I'm sure it'll be for next game, but just write down that you have a -3 to your next task.
Thank you.
So, with that, Abriel just sort of steps through the field,
Here
gets
we go.
on the other side,
Dana follows.
and one by one, you all step through into this devastated, plagued landscape.
Once more into the breach.
And that's where we'll pick up next time.
Ooh, baby.
Into devastation.
We always hate the corpse, but this is like so much more sinister.
Right?
I know. I
like
think
on
we're
a
all just
micro
getting more
level.
pissed as we walk through this
Trying to
place.
compartmentalize, because if I think about this too hard, I will actually fucking freak out.
I love this. This is spooky. This
I
is
love
like
it.
I really
love
like
it.
this.
Yeah.
I love that we're kind of getting forced to decide on what we want to do first. I think that's a really interesting thing we have to tackle now.
Well, I want to say before we sign off, thank you so much to the Patreon Writers Room for creating this horror. It's truly terrible.
amazing.
Dystopian Disneyland, which is just Disneyland. Anyway,
If we're being honest, yeah.
if we're being, it's like that but more. Yeah. So,
Just in time for Disney's planned community. Sorry.
God.
I forgot about that for like 2
I don't want to
seconds.
get sued anyway. Sorry.
All right, everyone. Thank you so much for joining us this evening. Another regular week of programming is ahead of you. We just had an episode of In Too Deep yesterday, where Drac was guesting. Are you
pistol whip someone again.
Are you coming back, or you're done now, right?
I'm done. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So it was Drac's last episode on In Too Deep.
We
So
have to get him on Ramblemancy on Friday, so he was on every single piece of programming this week.
Yeah.
yeah. But so yeah, you can check that out. It is on the VODs, but it will also be on YouTube on Saturday, so you will be able to see it then. We also do have Ramblemancy this week at 7 p.m. Pacific time. Did we decide what we're talking about, Freeman? I feel like we did, but
Doing
was
track checks, obviously.
I feel like we did, but I do not remember what it was.
It was we didn't. The only way I ever remember is when we come up with a title for it, but we didn't. We just said what we were going to talk about, threw things out there, and it was so obscure to me. No, it's D&D, like beginning D&D, like talking about it in a way that.
Oh yeah.
Is
so yeah. Thank you. Oh, sorry,
I still can't really explain it to me.
Okay, I'll do it. Fair enough. I'll take a shot at it. Basically, we talk about D&D and tabletop RPGs a lot on Ramblemancy, but almost always from the perspective of like from a place of knowledge about it. So like we're going to do our best on Friday to talk about TTRPGs, have a general discussion about TTRPGs from the perspective of the beginner. So for somebody who doesn't know anything about TTRPGs, we're going to do our best to not allow our own knowledge and assumptions to cloud the conversation, and hopefully we will give you something that is in any way cogent, something that you can parse if you are new to TTRPGs. So that will be on Friday. We're going to be talking about that. I think those are really the big announcements. Personal announcement reminder that that you can catch Polarity Exegesis Parts 1 and 2 on the Infinite Constructs YouTube channel. A Numenera one-shot where I play Rylan Eris, the mysterious nano who walks the wasteland. And it's very fun. Claire did an amazing job. Always does an amazing job of in Numenera describing stuff in a way that like is incomprehensible, yet it makes enough sense to us as the players to be able to like interact with it. It's incredible, and Claire knows exactly how to do Numenera, which is something that I don't think I will ever know how to do, and so I bow down to Claire for that.
And she has lots of cool videos on Numenera. If you're like, what the hell is that?
Yeah.
What's going on there? And she explains like everything. And by
Yes.
everything, I mean like literally everything.
Yes, yeah. So go and give the Infinite Construct a follow. She's awesome.
Icon.
And yeah, truly excellent. And of course Olivia will be on like the second adventure in this series soon. So
I'm excited for you guys to see that character.
hell yeah,
She's gonna be fun.
I'm very excited too. So yet another reason to follow the Infinite Construct, so you can catch that when it comes out. Others that y'all want to talk about here at the very
Power
end?
play Sunday. Queue times. Coffee. Art sneak peeks. I'll mail you confetti.
Nice.
Thursday is 6 p.m. Pacific on Saving Throw Show Dark Souls TTRPG. Friday is at also 6 p.m. Pacific over on Q Times Villain Campaign Parliament of Owls. Saturday 1 p.m. Pacific on a channel that I literally retweeted but I didn't check the actual channel of. I'm going to be in a charity one shot raising money for people who survivors of sexual harassment rape.
Rain.
Pardon?
Rain, is that the organization?
No, it's not
Is it
right. It's
not?
like I think the acronym is WAWAC or WAWAV. I think it's AV. That's all I remember because I remember atting them. But yeah,
It's all on Twitter. Everybody can find it.
yeah, it's all on Twitter. I retweeted it. I think that's everything. Also, I am the writer on Damon's Academy. So back on Kickstarter, it's live on Kickstarter. We passed like 60% of our goal, I think it was, but we have a little bit more of like just over 3 weeks to go. So back it. I'm writing a scenario set in Dracula's castle, and Dracula's a woman in my version of it. So yes.
You have my interest.
I will also mention, because Nightbot just mentioned it, that the best way to support us on this channel right now is by subscribing to our Patreon, which will get you all kinds of dope rewards. I won't give you the full list now, but the list includes stuff for you to drop into your tabletop RPGs, your own home games, media recommendations, and, as mentioned before, the opportunity to participate in world building for our shows. We are currently not doing any more world building for Infinite Horizon, but we are doing world building for another reward that you can get on Patreon, which is our Beyond the Roll, which has us doing like all kinds of different little like shorts and side quests and that kind of stuff that you can catch on there in it's sort of shorter, more digestible form in hour and a half long chunks. So yeah, you can go catch those there. That's kind of what our world builders are doing right now. So working on some of that stuff. Another note, and because I always keep forgetting to like actually mention this, which is that if you are subscribed here on Twitch, you also get access to some of the benefits on Patreon as well, through our Discord channel. So we have a channel in there, subscriber rewards, and if you are a subscriber here on Twitch and also in our Discord, you get access to a bunch of that stuff. So
Yeah, connect your Twitch to your Discord, and then your Discord will give you access to the
Yes.
things you unlock with. Yes,
exactly.
So
All right,
there
everybody.
are steps involved, but it's not that difficult. You can do it.
Yes.
I believe in you.
And there's a
Get
whole
all the stuff you're
whole
that you
backlog of content in there. So yeah,
so much stuff.
There's a
that
lot
you
of
can
good
just
stuff.
have if you're subscribed here.
So, but yeah, thank you so much, everybody, for coming and hanging out. We will hopefully see you on Friday at 7 p.m. Pacific time for Ramblemancy. But if not, we will see you the next time you decide to come roll with us. Good night and good zone, everybody.